the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl, Sweet Pea, and I am back with another video. I've been live all day, but today we are doing our giveaway. We're going to talk about Above Majestic. As you can see, I am going to do the review for Above Majestic. It is a full movie that is on a particular YouTube channel, and we're going to watch some of it, and I'm going to do a review on it. It's very interesting. It's a great documentary, and I want us to watch it. I want you to keep in mind this is, it's just a discussion. This is in no way, shape, or form am I trying to impose my beliefs or any other belief system on anyone. This is just for commentary, and just to enjoy other type of content. We've been talking about the alien agenda, and we've been talking about the alien disclosure and all of that. So tonight we're going to have a review. We're going to watch this, live. And I realize, like, right now, there's not a lot of people here because I know that dear Yvette is live. She had called me before she went live, and she let me know that she already had this live scheduled and that she was going to be addressing what had been going on earlier. So I was told that Marcella removed her video. I removed my video. And as far as I'm concerned, it's over. If, any of this keeps going, then it'll be at the fault of them, because I'm not going to keep it going. I said what I said, Marcella said what she said, and it's all done as far as I'm concerned. I removed the videos. I am told that people had a fields day with all of this. They were all on station head, but let me tell you something. What Yvette and I we realized is that a lot of this was orchestrated behind the scenes. It was orchestrated for this to happen, but they didn't get what they wanted because it wasn't as big of as a fallout. They thought it was going to keep going, and what they didn't expect was Yvette to call me. They didn't expect for me to take Yvette's call and for us to squash it and for us to move on. That's what they didn't count on. Okay, they banked on this going farther than what it went. It's not going any further. So I removed the videos. I won't be talking about Marcella anymore. As far as I'm concerned, I vented and said what I had to say. I said how I felt about it, and that's that. So we are going to play some trivia. I have a random trivia generator. Okay, we're going to get this subscriber giveaway. Yes, we're going to talk more about, okay. Let's move on. We're going to learn more about these aliens, Mary. Okay. Mary, I'm with you, girl. We got to talk about these aliens. Is they trying to take us or what? But before we get that underway, so we're going to do, I have some money that I want to give out. Okay. I'm going to give back to my subscribers because since I've been on here, I have been having ups and downs, twists and turns. And you guys are always here for me. You rock with me. You ride with me. You don't listen to the BS. You don't listen to the lies. And I appreciate that, because y'all see how much I go through on this app. So I appreciate my supporters. I love you guys. And I am so proud to have you as my sweeties. Okay. Don't ever think that I take it for granted what you donate, everything that you give. Don't think I take that for granted. Exactly. Let's keep it moving. What these aliens been up to, Chad? Okay. Hey, Sparkle. So, don't think that I don't, count my blessings. I am so thankful for you guys. So I want to give back. It's not a lot, I'm going to give 5 people $20 a piece. You guys we're going to do the trivia. Whoever answers first in the chat, they're going to get the $20. That's how that's going to go. Okay. we're going to put the questions on the screen to show what the question is, and then whoever answers it, we'll put the 30-second timer up. I'll give people a chance to answer the question, and then we'll show the answer. We're going to do 5 different questions from different categories, but I have a special surprise. I have a $50 prize for one of my members. And this is my member that has been a member the longest on my channel. Okay. So I've already looked and I've already checked to see who is I know y'all waiting on that Nikki video. I know. We actually did we did a video the other day about Nikki and about Kenny and about Ming. So I don't know if you checked out that video, but go ahead and watch that. But we do have some more content coming up about Nikki. We got to find out what is given. We got to find out who is that man. Okay, we got to find out who that man is. We got to find it out. Okay. So yeah, we got videos coming. So thank you guys, like I said, but let me bless my member and let me bless you guys with this little trivia. Okay, I'm gonna do $20 for 5 people. That's $100, and then my one of my members, I'm giving her $50. She's been a member the longest on my platform, and then I am giving a special subscriber a $30 prize. This is one of my subs that has been a subscriber for a very long time, and they're not really a member, but they have been a supporter and they've been a subscriber. They're on every video. They're always here. They're on my backup channel. They've been riding and rocking and rolling, so they're going to get a surprise as well. So I'm going to bless my member first. Then I'm going to do the trivia. Okay. So I'm going to do this real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. This person has been a member for 14 months. They have been on my membership for 14 months consistently. They have never missed a month. They have been a member for 14 months. Okay. That is almost about as long as I've had a membership. Okay. They have been a member for 14 months, and not to mention a sweetie. But before they were a member, they were a sweetie, one of the head sweeties. But this person has been a member for 14 months. And so I'm going to bless her with a $50 Cash App prize. Y'all ready? Can y'all guess who it is? Can y'all guess who it is? Drum roll, please. Miss Tammy Fleming. She says, hello, Sweet Pea in chat. Sweet Pea is thanking you, Tammy, for being a member on my channel for 14 months. Yes, girl. Mooney already knew. Mooney said it's giving Tammy. Tammy is here. She's always here. She has every video, every live, everything. Tammy has been here she's been a supporter forever, but she has been a member for 14 months. She is the longest running member on the Sweet Pea Diaries. 14 months. Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for your support. I love you, girl. Thank you. And not only is she a member and has she been a member for 14 months, but she's also a dear, dear supporter. She's always giving me encouraging words behind the scenes. She's always DMing me, this weekend, everything that I've been going through, she has been in my DM just encouraging me and I made you cry. Oh, I hope they are tears of happiness. So Tammy, please DM me your Cash App. If you want, you can put your Cash App in the chat right now and I can send you this $50. I want to give it out right now. Okay. So either put it in the chat or DM it to me if you don't want anybody to see it. She is a sweetie. She really is. So you can either put it there or you can DM it to me and I can give you that. I love you too, girl. So so Tammy, either put your Cash App in and either put it in the chat or put it in my DM, however you want to do it. But so we can go ahead. Now, my next giveaway, this is a person that has been, now this person I'm giving $30 to as a thank you. This person has been, honey, this person, I don't even know what to say about her. She is very supportive. She's been everywhere. She's on my backup chat. She is everywhere. She's one of the first persons in the chat. She's one of the first people to comment. She's always riding and dying with me. Y'all put y'all hands together for Miss Dion. Whoop whoop. Miss whoop whoop. Miss Dion. A supporter of a sweetie. Dion is winning $30 for her support of Sweet Pea Diaries. I mean, like I said, she has been a writer. She's on every video. She's at every live. She's always here. Y'all always see her, you know, and I'm giving her a $30 prize as well. Tammy, okay, there goes Tammy's Cash App. Dion, drop your Cash App in the chat, please. Okay. All right. So, I mean, these two women, I mean, I can't say enough about them. Like, and you guys know it. Anybody that is here, y'all know it. Y'all know it. Y'all seen Tammy. Y'all seen that membership. Tammy been a member 14 months. That's a year. What, a year and 2 months? That's a long time to be paying a membership consistently, never missed a beat. Always been a rider, never flip flopped. Dion, same thing. So I love you, ladies. Thank you so much for being so supportive. That's what a supporter is. That's what a supporter looks like, y'all. Yes, these two right here. Okay. Yep, this one right here. Okay. Okay. All right, Tammy, I sent it. Let me know if you got it. Okay, now Dion. All right, Dion. Okay, there's yours, Dion. Let me know if you got it. Hey, Costco. And then I want to do this right here too. Okay. You got it? You got it? Good. Okay. All right. So now let's get into our trivia. Now, we have five $20 prizes. Okay. So anybody can win, even Tammy and Dion now. Okay. So Tammy and Dion is not exempt. All right. So this trivia, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. Tammy and Dion, y'all are exempt. Y'all can't win. That ain't fair. Okay, because I just gave y'all some money. Okay. So y'all could play, but don't y'all won't be able to win. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Because I just gave y'all some money. So let's make it fair for everybody else. I ain't going to do that because y'all might rack it up. And then they gonna be like, she gave all the money to Tammy and Dion. So y'all are exempt from the game. Y'all can't play because I just gave y'all money, right? Y'all didn't have to do anything but be a sweetie and be a great supporter. So for everybody else, let's make it fair for them and let them, win the $20. Okay. So I'm gonna put up this random trivia generator. Let me share my screen. And this category that the first category that I picked is just random. Okay. This is a random, it's going to be general questions. Okay. So this first question, I really liked this one. What kind of animal is Chuck E. Cheese? What kind of animal is Chuck E. Cheese? I'm going to put a 30-second timer up starting now. Okay. Sweetness said a rat. Tammy said a mouse, but Tammy's exempt. Mooney said a mouse. Bougie Barbie said a mouse. Nichelle said a mouse. Dion said, come on, y'all. Saritha said a mouse, and Nichelle said a rat. She said a mouse and a rat. Okay. Your first answer was a mouse. So you have to stick with the first answer. So Sweetness said a rat and then mouse and all that. So we see the order that it's in. We're going to go in the order that it's in. So let's get the answer. A mouse. Ding, 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 ding. Now, who was the first person that said a mouse? Bougie Bobby. Yay! Bougie Barbie. She won $20. Bougie Barbie, drop your cash app in the chat. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Let's pick another one. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. Oh, I like this one. Okay, y'all. Y'all ready? All right. Y'all ready? Here we go. And if you win once, you can keep going. Okay. Bougie Barbie, if she get it right again, she can answer. You know what I mean? So y'all can answer as many times as you want. It said to go. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm talking to Kayla. She trying to order something. Hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all. I got Kayla straight. Okay. So Bougie Barbie said, I'm only playing for fun. I added back to the pot. Ignore my answers. Oh, okay. So, but you don't want to, you don't want the $20? So we're gonna put it back to the pot. You don't want it? Girl, you gotta take this $20. Don't do me like that, girl. Let me bless you with the $20. But I can't tell you what to do with your money. So if you want to put it back, that's up to you. But I would like for you to, me able to be able to give it to you. But that's up to you. You totally do whatever you want to do. All right. So I like this next question. This next question is, what is the name of Cheetos cheetah? What's the name of Cheetos cheetah? 30-second timer. Okay. Mooney said Chester. Okay. Dion said Chester. Sarita said Chester cheese. Okay. Michelle said Chester. Tammy said Chester. Okay. Let's see the answer. Chester. Ding, 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 ding. Go Mooney. Go Mooney. Go Mooney. Mooney won that one. Drop your Cash App in the chat, girl. Mooney won that $20. Go ahead, Mooney. All right, let me keep a track. Mooney won. And Bougie Barbie says she's not playing. So you don't want the 20, Bougie? You want me to put it back in the pot? So then that means that I'm going to give it to the next person, because I'll give it to the runner up. If you're skipping the prize, Bougie has said mouse. So that means the next person that had said mouse was Nichelle. So if Bougie doesn't want it, see, Bougie had, oh, wait a minute. No, Mooney was the one that won. Bougie up here said mouse and she won. So the next person in line was Mooney. So how are we doing this? Oh, put it in for a future game night. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna just go to the runner up. All right. So Mooney has now won $40. Okay. She don't want 2 questions. Mooney got that first one because we skipped it. Bougie passed on hers. So we're gonna give that to Mooney. Mooney got $40. Child. All right. So that's 2. So we got 3 more to give away. Oh, okay. Mooney is the winner of future game night. Okay, Bougie Barbie. That's how you want to do that one? All right. So we're going to put a future game night. That's Bougie's. That's how Bougie want to do it. Okay. So Bougie's turn went to future. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Future game night. And Mooney is an automatic winner for a future prize. Okay. That's how we're going to do that. All right. So now, Mooney, you got a jump start on our next game night. That's how Bougie wants. I gotta do how Bougie want to do it, because that was her $20. But Mooney already won $20. So I like that. That's good. So we got 3 more. Let's go. Let me find 3 more questions. Okay. Let me see. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, I like this one, y'all. What was the original name for Gummy bears. Ooh, what was the original name for gummy bears? I know, right? This one is going to be, nobody's going to win this one. Y'all better guess. Take a guess, y'all. What was the original name for gummy bears? Gummy bear. We got an answer. What was the original name for gummy bears? And y'all don't be Googling it. At least nobody's cheating. I love that. Y'all are very honest. Love it. So we're going to skip that one because I don't know that one either. In all fairness, I don't know that one either. Dancing bears. Ooh, who the hell would have known that? And Mooney said, oh, Dion say dancing bear. Dion, you know you Googled that. And Terrazon. Sweetness said gum. Mooney said gummy worms. Gummy sea creature. Oh, you knew that, Dion? Well, shit, Dion is smarter than all of us. We didn't know that shit. Okay, let me check it. Let me see. So that one we just go, we gonna just X that without y'all. Nobody knew that. Let me see. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. I got this one. Let's do this one. I like this one. What was the first sport to be televised on TV in the US? So, what was the first sport to be televised in the United States? What's the first sport to be put on TV in the United States? The first sport to be televised in the US. Freaking love this. So Mooney said football. Mary said football. Bougie Barbie said boxing. And I got a feeling that Barbie's right. I'm gonna go with boxing too. Sweetness said soccer. Michelle said football. Sarita said baseball. Tammy said football. Bougie said baseball. Sweetness said baseball. Bougie said, I love this. Bougie said baseball and boxing. I think it's boxing. I think it's boxing. So let's see what the answer is. Baseball. Oh, shit. So Sarita. Yeah. Sarita in the house. Sarita in the house. Sarita was the first person to say baseball. Go ahead, Sarita. Sarita, drop your Cash App in the chat, girl. So we got two more. Wait. The third one, that one we didn't get. Wait, Sarita. Let me see. 20. And then Bougie Day. Right. So we got two more. That's 1, 2. Yeah. Yeah, two more. Go Sarita. Go Sarita. Go Sarita. Go Sarita. Drop your Cash App, girl. All right, let's see. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. Who was America's first billionaire? 30 seconds. Who was America's first billionaire? Okay. We got one person said Henry Ford. Okay. Trying to get this to Sarita. Okay. All right. Let's see. There we go. All right, Sarita. Let me know if you got it. It says that you have to complete the payment, probably because I've never sent you anything or we've never did anything, business or anything. So let me know if you got that. Now, Mooney, you got to drop your Cash App. You said that you got to use your son or whatever. So make sure that you drop that Cash App where you want that $20 to go. All right. So what we got? Henry Ford. We got a Rockefeller. Nichelle said Rockefeller. Sweetness said John D. Rockefeller. Mary said Rothschild. Goddess said the Rockefellers. Mooney said somebody white. Hugh Hefner. Tammy said me. Bougie said, "Ooh, those are good answers." Dion said that Playboy man. Mary said a Vanderbilt. So let's see. John D. Rockefeller. Who said a Rockefeller? Oh, Sweetness. Sweetness said John D. Rockefeller. I think I'm going to have to give it to Sweetness. Sweetness has said John D. Rockefeller. She got the name all the way right. Because, see, if you said Rockefeller, could have said anybody, right? Could have been anybody. So we have to have the exact answer. So Sweetness forever me. Ding, 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 ding. Drop down in the chat and give me your Cash App, girl. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the last one. The last one. Okay. All right, now, y'all. Last one. Let's find a real good one for the last one. Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me see. I think I like that one. Oh, I like this one. All right. Y'all ready? Y'all ready now? Y'all ready? Let me know if y'all ready. This is the last one. Everybody ready? Okay, here we go. What do O.J. Simpson's initials stand for? What do O.J. Simpson's initials stand for? Okay. Bougie Barbie said Orenthal James. Together We Break Chains said Orenthal Jones. So Orenthal Jones, Orenthal James. We have Orenthal James from the Shell. We got Orenthal Juice. It's Poindexter, me and my damn spelling. And Sweetness said orange juice. So we got Orenthal James and Orenthal Jones. So let's see what is the answer. Orenthal James. Ding, 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 ding. So Bougie Barbie won that again. So what are you going to do with this prize, Bougie Barbie? Do we want to, can we go to the next runner up, or are we putting it on the next? We got 5 on it on the next game, or are we going to let the runner up, or how you want to do it? We going with the next, we going with the next prize again. How we going to do this one now, Bougie? You want to give it to the runner up, or you want to put it for future use again? It's up to Bougie. This was really cute, y'all. This was cute. I like that. I really like that. So Mooney, Sarita. Okay, wait. Yeah, let the chat decide. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to do it? Do we want her to put that to the next runner up, or do you want to put it to the future? What y'all want to do? All right. So the who? Okay. So I was trying to get Sweetness Forever. Where's her Cash App? Let me see. Okay, here's Sweetness's Cash App. Let me give it. All right. Okay. Here it is right here. Okay. Okay, Sweetness. Let me know if you got that. Okay. So now. All right. All right. Let me know if you got that. Okay. Did you got it? Okay. All right. So Mooney, did you give me your son's Cash App yet, Mooney? And then what did we decide we was doing with this? divide among the winners. Just let Bougie win. um, you getting it? Okay. So did we decide what we're gonna do with it? So you want to do one more with the one that the runner up? Do you want to just do one more with the one she's gonna just pass on it? Want to do one more and give one more person a chance to win? Let's just do that, Bougie. Since you opted out this time, she put her one up on the next another one. Okay, she said that's cool. One more will work. All right. So we'll do one more. All right. So all right. All right. So we'll do one more. Okay. So y'all come on now. Bougie's not gonna play. So she's gonna let you guys win. So you got one more chance. So let me get a real good one. When I tell y'all, this made me fucking laugh. We're not gonna do this one, but look what this question says. This question says, "What is a papoose?" I thought that was so funny. Oh, let me give this to Mooney. Let me get Mooney's money. Okay. They said, "What is a papoose?" Girl, we don't know what a papoose is. Ask Remy. Ask Remy what's a papoose. I said, what is a papoose? Okay. Yeah, I know. I can't believe he did that to her. Black love. That's what a papoose is. Black love. um. Okay, so Mooney, is that Christopher? Is it Christopher? Before I send that, is that what it is, Christopher? I'm putting for Mooney. I'm just putting for Mooney as the 4. Yep. Okay. Okay. There you go, Mooney. Okay. It's sent. All right. So now let me get a good one. I want to get a real good one. All right. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Mm. Oh, okay. This is a good one, y'all. All right, y'all ready? This is a good one. I think people know this one. I feel like you know this one. When Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, how many NBA championships did he win? Okay. Mooney said 5. Together we break change. She said 6. Nichelle said 23. Isn't that his number? Wasn't that his number on the jersey? Nichelle, I'm hurt you, girl. Mary says 6. Naya, uh, Mary said 6. Sweetness says 6. Nichelle said, "Oh, damn." Dion 6. Tammy said 12. And Barbie said, any sports question, I will never get those. Miss Jordan says, Sweet Pea and everyone, I'm late but here. Hey, Miss Jordan. But you're not really late. We're just doing the giveaway part. We're going to get into the review after this. I just wanted to get the games and the thank you out of the way. And then we're going to jump into our review. All right. So let's get that answer. Stick. Ding, 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 ding. Together we break chains. Girl, put your cash app in the goddamn chat, girl, so I can send you that little 20. Okay. So, y'all, this was very fun. I love it. I love that I was able to give back. I don't have much, but I was able to do a little something. I have a bill that I got to pay and a couple people that I need to pay. I've been trying to pay down on my lawyer fees and my legal fees and stuff. So, I have people that I got to pay with that as well. So, I had a little extra to pay and I felt like, let me do a little something for my subscribers, because you guys have been riding with me, my members, y'all been riding with me. So I wanted to do a little something. Okay. So that's all I really have. I ain't had much. We gave out a total of $180, almost $200, but that's all your girl can afford. Okay. Oh, Together Break Change says, I want you to give it to Dion. So, Dion, I'm going to send you the $20 that is from Together We Break Chains. Oh, so, honey, Miss Dion done walked up out of here with $50 tonight. Okay. Yes. So, let me send that on over to Dion. Okay. Look at my sweeties. Y'all so sweet. I got to do what they say do. Okay. Here you go, boo. All right, Dion, let the peoples know that you got that, girl. I just sent it. So that's from me to y'all. Thank you. Can I confirm that everyone got their money? Let me make sure that I didn't miss anybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Bougie wanted to put hers on the next one. And then Dion, and then Tammy. So I love it, y'all. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Everybody got their money. I'm so thankful that I was able to do that. I feel good about being able to do that. I would like to maybe try to do that maybe like once a couple months, every couple months, maybe once a quarter or something like that. I don't have much to give back, but when I can, I try to I'm going to try to do that because I am a giver in my spirit. I love to give when I have it to do it. And I have not always been able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, contrary to what people may think, I am not a greedy person. I'm not a selfish person. I am a giving person. I have a giving heart and I always want to be able to give, but I haven't always been in a position. So, and like I said, I have people that, I I'm in debt to for things that they've done for me, and these people, it ain't no little $20-$30. These people have helped me with my legal stuff. Someone that is really close to me, she blessed me and paid $1,000 towards my lawyer, but she didn't give it to me. She gave it to the lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So I have people that do support me, and I thank you. My supporters said, "Why are you going to take your Cash App down? Don't punish us. We want to look out for you." You guys know my Cash App. Y'all know what my Cash App is. If you want to bless me, you can bless me. I'm not turning down any money, but I'm not going to have it advertised anymore. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to ever give me just hit me up in the DM. Sweet Pea, I want to bless you with something. What's your Cash App? If you don't know what it is, just hit me up and I'll personally give it to you. But as far as donating anymore on the lives and all of that, I just think that people get weird about money. And so I'm just to cut down the shit, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? Y'all know my Cash App. It's been up here. It's basically what you see on my Sweet Pea Diaries. My Cash App is Sweet Pea Diaries. So people know what it is, but I'm not going to be advertising it anymore. I'm not going to be asking for Cash App. Say, oh, hit the cat. If y'all want to support the channel, give a super chat. That's how y'all can support. Okay. So let's go on to Above Majestic, y'all. Thank y'all. I love my supporters. Yay. Congratulations to all the winners. Love y'all. So this Above Majestic, this is actually a video that I watched. I found on YouTube. It's a channel that actually talks about all of everything alien. Okay. Everything conspiracy, everything global elite cover up, all of it. It is a remarkable channel. This channel is called Unidentified. Okay. Y'all heard me talking about this earlier, this channel. And when I came across this video, I said, oh my God, I got to share this with my supporters. So we're going to watch it and we are going to do a review. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to watch it. And I'm going to break down piece by piece how I, just going to do a review and do commentary on it because I think that I have to every certain amount of seconds. Hey, Lou Cypher. Every so often I have to stop and exactly. Another word for aliens is demons, period. Okay. So I have to stop it every now and then so that way I don't get the whole copyright thing, I think. So without further ado, this is going to be a long video, okay? This is an hour. We're already an hour into this video. So the giveaway for the people that catch this and they want to watch the Above Majestic review, I will probably put the timestamps on the description so that they can fast forward all of the giving part of this video and they can just jump right into the content. So without further ado, let's just get into the Above Majestic full movie. And this is on the Unidentified channel.
Freedom is a heavy load, a great, strange burden for the spirit to undertake. It is not easy. It is not a gift given, but a choice made, and the choice made may be a hard one. The road goes upwards towards the light, but the laden traveler may never reach the end of it. Man approaches the unattainable truth through a succession of errors. Affliction comes to us, not to make us sad but sober, not to make us sorry but wise. You will be required to do wrong no matter where you go. It is the basic condition of life to be required to violate your own identity. At some point, every creature which lives must do so. It is the ultimate shadow, the defeat of creation. This is the curse at work, the curse that feeds on all life, everywhere in the universe. The gravest error a thinking person can make is to believe that one particular version of history is absolute fact. History is recorded by a series of observers, none of whom are impartial. It is change, continuing change, inevitable change that is the dominant factor in society today. No sensible decision can be made any longer without taking into account not only the world as it is, but the world as it will be. The saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. Each generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that came after it. Man is the unnatural animal, the rebel child of nature, and more does he turn himself against the harsh and fitful hand that reared him. It doesn't matter what you do, so as long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it, into something that's like you after you take your hands away. The very concept of truth is fading out of this world, and lies will pass into history. Solitude, isolation are painful things and beyond human endurance. For small creatures such as we, the vastness is bearable only through love. O blessed glorious Trinity, bones to philosophy, but milk to faith, which as wise serpents diversely, most slipperiness, yet most entanglings hath. As you distinguished undistinct, by power, love, knowledge be. Give me such self-different instinct, of these let me elemented be, of power to love, to know you, unnumbered three.
Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu was trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
When the
Y'all
Trinity
are
nuclear
crazy.
test was done and Robert Oppenheimer said, "We have done this before," he was speaking from an informed perspective. In the ancient Hindu text, the Bhagavad Gita, there is a reference to a bolt of iron charged with the light of 1,000 suns. It describes radiation sickness. It describes elephants screaming and dying. It describes the shadows that are left on the ground after the blast goes off. All things that we're now very familiar with in the nuclear age. The same culture that described what appeared to be the use of a modern nuclear weapon also was describing things like anti-gravity craft that flew through the air with no sound called vimanas. These craft could pass right through a mountain, and they also used some sort of particle beam weapons. You have human-looking beings that are larger than the rest of us and have blue skin, like Krishna, and they also have extraordinary abilities. And in addition to that, you have weird reptilian beings called Rakshasas, who are also codenamed snakes. And these beings clearly appear to be of a reptilian nature. This even goes to the point that you still to this day have temples in India in which there are people called Nagas who have a human-like top, but then from the waist down, they literally have a snake's body. All of this stuff takes on a much different investigative hue once we look at the fact that the actual record of what we now know a nuclear bomb looks and acts like is dutifully recorded in these Hindu scriptures. So Oppenheimer was aware that this weapon unleashed a fury unlike anything we'd ever seen before. Prior to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the scientists were the rock stars. Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Marconi, Tesla. These were the rock stars. These were the people who made our lives so exciting that we went from essentially a primitive situation where in order to have food preserved, we have to have an ice box where literally pieces of ice are covered with sawdust, to now we have electric refrigerators. We have electric lights so we can read at night. We have thoughts being beamed wirelessly by radio, and then eventually even pictures through television. This was so exciting. People could travel, transcontinental railroad. All these things were coming out that had never happened before. The private automobile without the need for horses. And then all of a sudden, the nuclear explosion shows that technology hit a screaming brick wall. We could not trust any longer that our toys would be the instruments of our enlightenment. They could actually be the instruments of our destruction.
Exploding these nuclear weapons ended up basically acting as beacons to a number of ET races in our general area. The primary energy pulse that occurs in one of these explosions sends an energy that feeds back through the fabric of space-time.
Now, this part that they're getting ready to get into, I actually believe this. I do believe that when they set off these nuclear bombs, that they sent out a frequency and that they open a portal. I do believe that anything that because the Bible talks about looking to the heavens in the last days, the signs and wonders, different things that you're going to see in the skies, different things you're going to be seeing coming from the heavens, all of these different things. The Bible prophesies and talks about that. So I do believe if it absolutely cannot be that there are no aliens, that there aren't no other people living. It has to be. We cannot be the only people that exist. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to get into all of that, Bougie Barbie. They say the aliens gave all this technology to Eisenhower. I'm starting to believe it. Remember, I told y'all that, yes, it's different dimensions. It's different, and I do believe like what they're getting ready to get into about the frequencies that they set off when they started messing with these nuclear bombs and all that. They set off this, basically contacting those aliens, and those aliens have said, hey, where they get the technology to do, okay, they down there setting off bombs. Okay, they're going to destroy the planets, because from what all of this movie and all the other ones I've been watching, the common theme about the aliens is that they want planet Earth. They don't want us to destroy planet Earth. Okay, because for some reason, everybody would want this. They want this planet. So they're trying to stop us from harming ourselves, but they feel as though if we do harm ourselves, there's going to be, they're going to allow this to occur, allow a cosmic something to happen. And then, child, just watch this. Just watch. Just watch it.
All stars, all planets are connected through electromagnetic filaments. Scientists call these connections the cosmic web. It looks like a giant spider web all throughout the cosmos. When a nuclear explosion occurs, it sends a feedback through this cosmic web. This is a problem because these extraterrestrials not only communicate through this cosmic web, but they actually travel through it from star to star. Therefore, when we detonated these devices, we sent out a signal saying not only are we at a certain level of advancement, but we're not at a certain level of advancement spiritually.
Oppenheimer's key quotes revealed that he did not know what the effect of the detonation of the nuclear bomb would be. When they conducted the Trinity test, they were unaware as to whether or not this explosion would create a chain reaction that could actually destroy the whole Earth.
Now, this is what I say about these politicians and the government and the scientists and the people that see the one thing that man has always had a problem with, and that is thinking that they're God, and that is thinking that they are above themselves and above civilization, because playing around with nuclear bombs and with technology and not realizing that you already knew that this had the power to destroy the world, but still and yet you wanted to do it anyway. Like, that says a lot about these people. They knew that this bomb, like this detonation of this bomb, they knew that it was a possibility that they could destroy the world, and still and yet they still did it. They wanted this technology that bad. And that is the whole America. They've always wanted to be first. They always wanted the technologies. You ever wonder why the Nazis, after that program with Hitler and all that, they brought all those Nazis over here and put them in NASA, put them in charge of our space program and our this and our that, because these scientists over there had all of these different projects they were working on and experiments and all the stuff that they were finding out about the world itself, and went over there to Antarctica and found things underneath the ice and was over there communicating with demons, because them aliens and all that different stuff, that's not nothing but different demons. That's not nothing but different entities. And of course you're going to have angelic, and you might have angelic beings that you come in contact with, because the Bible talks about angelic beings. The Bible talks about them being tall and appearing to look scary looking and have a face on this side and eyes on this side and this and that. The Bible talks about angels and how they really look. But they're always trying to mess with something. They're always trying to build and create. But y'all are going to find out by watching a lot of this that you remember when I was talking about, did we ever wonder why certain people are the rich people, like the Rothschilds and all these people that we were mentioning when we're doing the trivia, and the global elites and the certain families that have money, and then the kings and queens and all? We ever wonder like how those people came into power? Well, remember I told you, and I was even telling my kids, remember we talked about this, that the reason why these people were able to be ruling over everyone is because their families were the ones that were in communication with these extraterrestrials, with these other demons or whatever it is, and they were giving knowledge, they were given information. So they were always the ones that were able to communicate with these things. So people worshiped them because they thought that those were gods when they were demons and different things that they were worshiping. So, when the sky people and all these different things, that the Indians and, Egyptians, all of this, they were always in communication with other beings. So because they were, the people worshiped them. And that's how generation after generation, they were the ones that were the elite in their time and age. So they tried to keep their bloodlines pure. They tried to keep all of it coming back to them because they were the ones that were in control and all the power. Even the Vatican, even the Catholicism, all of that is rooted in New Age. It's rooted in, it has nothing to do with Christianity. It has all to do with power. Because if you go back and study how Catholicism even came to be, and how they merged it with Christianity, because the people were unruly, and Constantine and all these people, they were unruly, and they forced that on different villages as they went to different villages. They forced Catholicism, Christianity. They would take that scepter thing that the Pope walks around with, and they would mutilate and rape and maim people with that stick. with that scepter or whatever it's called. They would stick that in women's behinds, men's behinds. They would do it in front of the village, the people in the village, to get them to submit to their religion. Oh, it's really deep the way the Catholic Church has operated back in, the whole Ark of the Covenant, all of this. It is so much information that we have been, that has been hidden from us. I mean, it's really deep when you start doing research and because that's what I've been doing. I've actually been researching a lot of this stuff, and I've been connecting the dots, because back when I was younger, I read this book by Graham Hancock called Fingerprints of the Gods. I'll never forget that book. And that book spoke about the pyramids and crop circles and different things that are in our world that we have no explanation for. Right? There's no way that Ramses and all these people had people build these pyramids. They're perfect shaped. They're perfectly measured. The actual dimensions, are the dimensions of different, pyramids and other places of the world. There's no way that these pyramids can be done by people that only had wood and donkeys and stuff to pull that shit up there. There's no way. There's no way, because literally you cannot carry how heavy that stuff is. It's after a certain time, the wood and the stuff that they're using is not even strong enough to carry that stuff and pull it. So yeah, you can argue that people did it and all that, but there's no way that they did it. It's too perfect. It's too, and then the stuff they used to carve it, there's no grooves. There's nothing that's showing that they used tools. It was like it was done with lasers, or it was just done by, crushing atoms and removing atoms. And it's just a lot. It's highly technology. It's high technology. It's technology that doesn't even exist in our world. Yeah, there's no way. And they say we can't even build those pyramids today, not even with the equipment that we have. There's no way. There's also a structure that is carved from a mountain. And it's perfectly symmetrical. It starts, like, once it started being made, it's a continuous whatever the structure is, it's continuous. It's not like they started and they made it from one part and then they made another part. No, it literally is built from this mountain or whatever, and it's continuous. The structure is continuous. How can you do something continuous with a horse and buggy and carriage and donkeys and wood and chisel out something that perfectly? There's no way. And you have to be able to see from the top, to see down, to see what it is that you're doing. So whoever built these things, they was able to see from the top. You know what I'm saying? They were able, and they had to have some type of lights or laser beams or whatever to be inside of it and carve out what was on the inside. So yeah, it's really deep. And a lot of the stuff that we've been told about all of this, it's a lot of hidden knowledge, and you're gonna get to see why it's hidden.
And yet they proceeded forward because they believed that this weapon was the only way they could end World War II, and thus the ends justified the means.
With how potent and how powerful these technologies can be, we can never expect to be able to handle them if we operate them from a low consciousness. When you raise your individual consciousness, when you actually make the effort to become more aware of an individual, that has a mirrored effect to society. It's the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So when you become more conscious of an individual, that makes society itself raise in consciousness. And when each one of us, every single one of us, begins making ourselves more aware, society itself is going to become more aware.
Multiple insiders with credible military and corporate backgrounds have said that extraterrestrial spacecraft have appeared over nuclear missile installations and have completely powered them down.
First, I'd like to briefly describe the incident that I experienced in March 1967. At that time, I was a first lieutenant, U.S. Air Force, stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. I was trained and assigned duties as a missile launch officer for the Minuteman I intercontinental ballistic missile. We had operational control over 10 Minuteman nuclear missiles. On the evening of March 24th, 1967, while my commander was on a scheduled rest break, I received the first of two phone calls. The first call was to report unidentified lighted objects flying above the facility.
Well, they were hovering above the nuclear silos, and what was happening was they didn't attack the nuclear silos. All they did was shut down. Captain Robert Salas had like 8 nuclear-tipped ICBMs, and they all got shut down in rapid succession. And these systems have triple redundancy backup systems. So, and the guards up topside were with their weapons drawn with a glowing red saucer above the silo. And then the UFO then went 60 miles to the other base and shut down their nuclear missiles as well. This has happened more than once. This happened in Brentwaters in the UK as well.
What most people haven't heard came to me from 2 insiders, Bob Dean and Pete Peterson, where both of them independently told me that in the year 1990, all of the nuclear warheads in the US and in the USSR completely melted down, became radioactively inert, and even the missiles themselves would just sputter around and wouldn't even fly a straight trajectory anymore. Right during this same time that all of these nuclear missiles were literally melted down inside the warhead, we also have this amazing formation appear on a dry lake bed in Oregon.
The Idaho National Guard has a huge mystery on its hands, and that is our top story today. During routine photo reconnaissance missions over Oregon, RF-4 jets spotted and took photographs of a huge carving in the desert over 1,000 feet across.
It has everybody talking. I mean, this is just something that, well, it chills you.
How would somebody do this? It's incredibly time-consuming. A lot of expertise involved, had to take a long period of time, and maybe a lot of money.
From point to point is exactly 11.5 degrees. Exactly. And the outer ones, they're exactly 23 degrees apart. Exactly.
No variation.
No variation.
And there's something else puzzling here, something that you do not see. You do not see tire tracks, the kind of tracks that might be made by a tractor or a plow. No tire tracks and no footprints. In Oregon, I'm Walden Kirsch for NBC News.
The reality is that this is the same type of thing that's being done with crop circle formations, but on an even more impressive scale. And that mark was a symbolic statement from the ETs. The mandala, remember, is supposed to be a symbol of the cosmic mind, a symbol of the creator, the origin of the universe, the geometric nature of how everything unfolds. So they're giving us a message. They're showing us that they will make sure that we stay on track for this positive future that's been promised to us in over 35 different ancient cultures around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
So when I really think about the speech from Dwight David Eisenhower, his farewell speech about the military-industrial complex, it brings up a lot of stuff for me. I was recruited to go off planet in 2006, and it seems to be related to the alternative 3 scenario that relates to creating colonies off planet. And the Mars colony was the planet that was being discussed during that time. And so when we hear about a warning like that, but we don't hear about the actual alternatives or agendas or ET government treaties and some of the things that were taking place, what was he really trying to say? There's so many layers to the military-industrial complex that we're starting to discover now. And I've been definitely researching and digging real deep in order to understand really what he meant. And as many have uncovered and been a whistleblower for, and just my own experience in that Mars recruitment, we discover a secret space program, this multi-level shadow government with compartmentalism, things that happened after the Second World War, and the infiltration coming in from Project Paperclip to the American government, MK Ultra having so many branches. So it's like, okay, here's a warning about the misplaced power that exists and will persist if we as an American people don't start to become empowered, which is basically what I got from it. I could feel a lot of pride in a lot of my family members about that speech. But I would say that I'm a family member that has, I think, recognized some layers that were not brought to my attention growing up, that I've been able to sort of share with them. And again, there's compartmentalism. The NSA signed something in 1947 that made it legal, like a law, that you couldn't disclose this sort of stuff without massive ramifications. And here we are in this particular window, without oaths being signed by many of us, with more freedom of speech and more of an ability to bring light to all of this. And that's why the speech is really relevant, because it rings true to today. Those warnings are something that we're beginning to finally uncover.
Actually started back in 1955 with the Eisenhower administration that was forced into a treaty, somewhat of a surrender, with a Nazi faction that had been operating. One of the witnesses that was Brigadier General Stephen Lumpkin, who was on Eisenhower's staff, who was aware that he lost control to the corporations and that it would not be in the best of hands. And so once this treaty was signed, Nelson Rockefeller restructured the whole CIA.
So Alicia says that conspiracies were created to distract us. So it all depends on, I do believe that in part. It all depends on what you label as a conspiracy. Because when you think about all of the information that they find and the ancient scripts from this, civilization and that civilization, and how they all speak about the end times. And I mean, they all have that common theme, the end times, and that there's going to be a catastrophe, and the sun is going to, turn black, and all these different things. Like it's spoken about in all different religions, right? I don't think that a distraction is a distraction if it's truth, right? The distraction is social media. The distraction is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, the Grammys, rap music, Beyonce, all of this. That's the distraction. Even me talking about Tasha K and Cardi B and all of that stuff, that is really all a distraction. All of that means nothing. It is worthless. It is useless. But if they can keep us thinking about those things, and if they can, keep us engrossed in that, the Bible says that no man knows the hour, no man knows the time. Jesus is going to return like a thief in the night. So that means that we're all going to be doing our thing. We all going to be rushing to and fro. The Bible talks about that, rushing to and fro. We're going to all be working towards our goals and worrying about who's talking about this on YouTube and who's doing this on station head and Instagram and shade room, neighborhood talk, all of this. And Jesus is going to return right while all of that is occurring. And then that's when everybody's going to stop and say, oh my God, all of this was real. And then they're going to realize that everything that they've been doing, all the crap that they've been talking, it all means nothing, because now we are all the same, because now we all in a fight for survival. Because there's going to be, it is not going to be all peaches and cream. When the saints and saved people and all this are raptured up, when people are removed from this earth, it says 2 are going to be walking in the field and 1 is going to be lifted up. 1 is going to be taken. So that means you're going to be going along with your life. It literally not going to be walking in a field. That just is a, analogy for we are going to be doing our regular thing, and boom, people are going to be raptured up. So that's why there's a lot of things that they've hidden from us, they've dummied down, and that they've lied about to keep us blind. There's a full disclosure in effect. A lot of things we were taught in school and church does not add up to the realities out here. And I went to Catholic school from 2nd to 9th grade. And a lot of it is distraction because if they were to tell you the truth, do you think people would even freaking accept the real truth? They wouldn't accept the real truth.
MJ-12 operations. So now our legal government is no longer in the loop. They also replaced the complete MJ-12 group that was originally set up by President Truman with Alan Dulles as MJ-1, or head of the MJ-12 operations of all people, who was highly instrumental in the Nazi infiltration. What happened was, when this happened, all of the reverse engineering operations that were Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio were moved to Area 51 and S4, where Eisenhower realized that he had lost control when he attempted to look into it. He was denied access. Here, a 5-star general was really pissed, so he threatened to invade Area 51, where the First Army out of Colorado. And until they allowed 2 agents to give a report of what's going on over there. And what they found was that several craft were being reverse engineered that were extraterrestrial and German origin.
One of the ways that the Nazis obtained their advanced technology before World War II was through the use of a channeler called Maria Orsic. Maria Orsic was channeling telepathic messages from extraterrestrials that were offering her plans and schematics to actually create anti-gravity craft. Maria Orsic channeled this information for the occult Vril Society in Germany. This information was later used by these German secret societies to build out many of their crafts. Because they were focused more on the qualitative superiority rather than the quantitative, they were more focused on having more advanced technology rather than more tanks and boots on the ground. They were losing the ground war in Europe, but they were obtaining the more advanced technology. And to save that technology, they took it down to Antarctica pre and during World War II.
In the late 1930s, the Nazis had an expeditionary group go down to Antarctica, and they found some very interesting things. They found a region under the ice that was created by geothermal heat from volcanoes. And there would be 3 miles of ice, and a few thousand feet above.
Now that was an actual picture of a Nazi in a geothermal, some type of cave or whatever in Antarctica. How are you? That's crazy. Did you see what that looked like? That would mean that it's not cold. They're standing in there and it's not melting. It's geothermal. So that can actually, you can build a city, you can build underground caverns to live in there. So that was an actual photo, because a lot of people do not know when Hitler and all of when they invaded, they took a lot of information from those Nazis. They had videos, they have pictures, they have all of that. And a lot of them were inducted into our governments, were inducted into our programs, particularly the space program. A Nazi was ahead of NASA. Did you know that? A man from the Nazis, a man from freaking Hitler's army, he was in charge of the NASA program, the space program. He was heading up NASA, not one of our own, a Nazi. So a lot of them found asylum, found refuge in our government and in our country when they were captured, so-called, and taken away from Germany. They weren't really captured. They were just actually recruited. A lot of them, all that stuff they were over there doing, the atrocities, the experiments they were doing in them labs with people. Y'all heard about that daggone Nazi scientist that did all those experiments with twins and different things he was doing, giving people sicknesses and seeing how one twin reacted and the other one didn't, putting dye in their eyes to make one eye blue and one eye green and all these different things. All of those things and all that research, they wanted that technology and wanted the research. The government of our country wanted that research that the Nazis were doing. There's a lot of breakthroughs that we've made medically that are because of the Nazis and the information that they had from Hitler's death camps, the shit that they were over there doing. They were recording it. And they were doing experiments and they were doing research, but they were doing it live on human beings. It's really sad what has really taken place with people.
Ground level would have been melted by the geothermal heat, and the rest of the ice acts as an insulator.
Right,
causing
Mengele.
sort of like
Yes,
an igloo
Bougie
effect.
Barbie.
And the dome would grow from the heat.
Look at this in
the
Antarctica.
geothermal
Look
heat,
where they're
and it would
standing in.
melt and run under the ice. And that was some of what was lubricating the ice and causing it to move. But underneath these areas, they were finding perfect areas to build submarine bases. So not only did the Nazis build out submarine bases, as they developed more and more of their space program, they developed out a massive spaceport. After these spaceports were developed and the Nazis had handed it over to basically the Americans began to develop more and more research and development bases in Antarctica. In the late 1950s, a treaty was signed that stated that Antarctica was only to be used for peaceful research. Well, we were basically arriving and digging giant holes under the ice in various areas and building out these giant complexes, much like I think it was called Project Iceworm back in the 1960s, where like in Greenland, the United States Army Corps of Engineers was building out an ICBM base hidden under the ice. And it was very sophisticated. I'm told that they were very similar in when they were built and how they were built to the buildings that were built in this program. Companies that were given access to these R&D bases began to develop NBC testing, they called it, nuclear, biological, chemical testing, which in the programs usually translates into them working with clones, working with different chemical compounds to affect how people develop psychologically or physiologically. So a lot of very, very dark scientific programs began to be developed down in Antarctica, and indeed are going on to this very day. One of the biggest things that the cabal does not want us to know about are the existence of these R&D bases and all of the horrible crimes against humanity that are occurring on these R&D bases.
On December 9th, 2015, William Tompkins released his epic book, Selected by Extraterrestrials. I became aware of it early in 2016, but it wasn't until he had conducted several interviews that he and I became friends and began speaking regularly. The story of William Tompkins is quite amazing. Here's a man who's 93 years old, and he gets hired right as he begins his military career in the Navy, working in a highly classified program for the United States government at the highest levels, where he was personally responsible for getting information from 23 different American spies who were embedded in the German secret space program, which apparently included bases in Antarctica.
A single Navy operative went into Germany. This is like 1939. He didn't believe this, but there was very strange organizations and different research groups all over, not just Germany, but in the occupied countries too. And strangely enough, Germany was putting in production fantastic vehicles. They didn't have wings on these aircraft. They didn't have empennage or tails. They had landing gears. Some of them were triangular shaped. Some were rectangular shaped. Some were round shaped, like a saucer. And so he, being a spy for the Navy, found out all of these fantastic situations that were going on inside of Germany. And this is an important point. Instead of him going to his boss, coming back to the United States, he went directly to the Secretary of the Navy, Forrestal. Forrestal gets tapped on the shoulder. He gets told, don't select a Navy officer to head up these operatives. What? He's told to select somebody who had never been in Annapolis. Now, almost every Navy officer, whether they're a one-star or a lieutenant commander, they've all been through Annapolis to learn how to be a Navy officer. It turns out Forrestal is told that every book in the libraries, every book in the colleges, every book in the universities, every book on this planet is misinformation. It's misinformation. So, which is initiated by the Draco reptilians as far back as 6,000 years ago.
The reptilians really came into control and started to be able to manipulate what was going on the face of the planet about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. It is true that they have different masking technologies to be able to be in a room and look like a human, but usually they're in underground bases in various places on the globe, as well as in a huge area in Antarctica. The southeast region has a large number of underground caverns that are kept extremely warm too warm for humans by geothermal heat. It's a perfect place for all of these colonies that the reptilians have. They're basically cities, huge cities with millions of them.
So, the Secretary of the Navy selects Rick Abada. He's not even an American. He comes over here with his family. He goes to school here. He goes to the second year in high school. He leaves school. He joins the Navy as a third-class seaman, works his way up in the Navy. Now he's a commander, okay? That commander is selected by the Secretary of the Navy to head up all of these operatives to go back into Germany and find out what's going on. Because that individual had never had misinformation given to him about every technical field on the planet.
Everything we learn in the establishment-controlled education systems is specifically designed to program our minds away from the truth. Physics is wrong. Medicine is wrong. History is wrong. Everything we are taught in textbooks is mainly wrong. And this is done purposefully so we don't understand how to move our bodies, how to feed our bodies, what really happened in the past, what technology can really do these days. All of these things, if we learn them, would help us empower ourselves, would help us actually understand what's really going on with our reality.
Now, if you were to go to San Diego and look over at North Island, you're going to see a tall building like this. There's a small office in the top of that building, which is a secret office for the Admiral. This is where the operatives come to. So the Admiral's aide comes to my barracks, taps me on the shoulder, and he only says one word: he's here. We drive over to that building, we get up to the top, we go into this conference room, a small room. Admiral Rick Abada sits here, I sit here, and one of three other bosses that I have are all captains. So now I have three captains as bosses, and now a 2-star admiral. He just got another raise. Wow. He just came back from Lockheed. He just came back from Scripps Institute. He just came back from all the aircraft company. Wow. Now he's got these operatives coming in. So the operative sits on the other side of the table. He discloses to us these fantastic things that Germany is doing that make no sense. Now I have 8 girls and 3 PhDs as a group. We put together a package from what the operative brings back. Some of it is photographs. Once in a while, it's a manual, hardly any manual. A couple of manuals were not even in English, German, or any other language. They were extraterrestrial hieroglyphics. You see all of this stuff. You hear it. You understand what the Germans are doing. They didn't just get documents from the extraterrestrials. They got brand spanking new space vehicles. Here's one. Here's another one. They brought these. They take you inside. They show you how to drive it. So they put me in a secret laboratory, which is designing, not flying wings like Northrop does, okay? These are just a fuselage with no wings and no tail. Half airplane, half spaceships. This is what Northrop was designing. Our first spaceships are U.S. Navy attack class submarines. We put together programs that went all the way out into the galaxy, not just this galaxy.
The military-industrial complex, back when they were testing a lot of the technology that they had received from the Nazis after World War II, as well as from ETs. When they were doing proof of concept testing, they had attached this technology to a regular submarine, and then they flew it out of our atmosphere. That was the first time that they were really able to fly a vessel out of our atmosphere using electrogravitic technology. The reason that they used a submarine was, of course, because they were self-enclosed. The crews that served on them were used to serving 6 months or more away from home, having all of their supplies with them. And they had the psychology of being able to handle those tight quarters for such a long time. The technology developed to a point to where they developed the finances, this financial schemes, to begin to build out fleets of these long cigar-shaped craft. Some of them were kilometer long or longer, and they could make them longer by putting in sections. And the sections were modular, just like in modern submarines. They could take apart the fuselage and pull out sections. It could, one of these modules could be set for like 3 or 4 months as a laboratory for a bunch of different scientific programs. And then at its next time at port, the modules are swapped out, and then it's a hospital ship. The modules swapped out the next time, and it's a troop transport, or it's just a long haul freighter. So these ships are very modular, and in the beginning, they were using power systems that were nuclear. Then they moved to thorium type of electrical generation, and then they moved to some sort of 0 point electrical generation. And that is what they currently use.
This is totally unreal that this happened like in 1942 on this planet. Extraterrestrial come from who knows where out in the galaxy. Germany gets to be the country that these Draco reptilians pick out to do 2 types of missions. One, to remove all of the people that Hitler didn't want in his country, and every one of them around the planet. 2, to take every man, woman, and child on this planet and put them in slave factories, men, women, and children, to build and construct all these different types of Draco Navy space battle group ships. This may sound like insanity. This is what happened.
He had concluded from what these insiders were telling him that the Germans had actually made treaties with a highly aggressive and highly negative reptilian humanoid race that they've called the Saurians or the Draco. This treaty involved the Nazis actually being given workable technology that is built with our own conventional systems. They use a sort of mercury turbine, or type of mercury called red mercury. And then they are actually able to leave the Earth. They had a settlement on the moon. They had a settlement on Mars. And they were doing this stuff as early as 1939, even before World War II actually started. As you can imagine, everybody was thinking he was crazy, but yet these insiders were reporting literally standing there, in which you have 8 foot tall, even 12 to 14 foot tall reptilian extraterrestrials, terrifying in appearance. They smell bad, actually advising the Germans on how to build this stuff in these various bases, including that in Antarctica.
Operation High Jump was an operation commissioned in 1947 that was led by Admiral Richard Byrd. And on the public level, it was said that this was a scientific exploration. But what happened was that this operation was commissioned with 33 ships, 13 aircraft, and 5,000 men. Now, this was not a scientific exploration with that many men and that many ships. What Operation High Jump actually was commissioned for was to go down to Antarctica and basically root out the Nazi installations that they had built pre and during World War II. The DC flyover was an event that occurred over successive weekends in July of 1952 in Washington, D.C. And what had happened was that there was a mass sighting right over the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. There was many lights in the sky. Now, many people believe that this was a UFO or an extraterrestrial incident, but in fact, it was not. It was German saucers, German craft that were flying over the Capitol building and essentially forcing the hand of the Americans to accept many of these Nazi scientists into their control structures. When many of these Nazi scientists came into America after World War II in Operation Paperclip, they infiltrated into basically every power structure in the United States, government, media, medical systems, basically everything. After World War II, James Forrestal went to Germany to tour many of the research facilities that the Germans had over in Europe, and John F. Kennedy actually accompanied him on those tours. Some believe that Kennedy was actually given information by Forrestal about secret space programs and the UFO phenomenon. And near the end of James Forrestal's career, he was also embroiled in many policy struggles within the United States government. He wanted to disclose the UFO phenomenon and the technologies associated with it. It was said that he committed suicide by jumping out of a high-rise hospital that he was staying in at the time of his death. But of course, many people are also believing that he was actually pushed out of the window and in fact assassinated to prevent him from working to disclose these technologies in UFO projects.
They had a really troubled Eisenhower that passed over the torch over to Kennedy, before leaving his famous speech of, beware of the misplaced powers when the industrial military complex, and that only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can protect our future liberties and freedoms. Kennedy, with his background in Office of Naval Intelligence, and documents show that he was aware all the way back to 1942 of operations happening. Kennedy had Alan Dulles as the CIA director. Finding the nefarious activities that Alan Dulles was doing, he eventually fired Dulles and was replaced with John McCone. Because Kennedy was trying to look into these activities, Alan Dulles set up an assassination directive that was revealed in what was called the Byrne Memo, one of James Jesus Angleton's memos that they were attempting to try to destroy all. One intelligence operative was able to pull it, basically saying that Lancer, or the code word for JFK, has been looking into our activities. This we must not allow. This group was working with the group that was with the Treaty of 1955. So when Kennedy put forth a top secret document to the CIA director looking into the MJ-12 and CIA operations with the extraterrestrial, he was silenced with an assassination 10 days later. Years went by. By the way, the Warren Commission, which, Kennedy's famous piece of infiltrated monolithic conspiracy and beware of the dangers of secrecy and secret societies. Ironically, the Warren Commission, who said, we have a lone gunman that did this, was all made up of 33rd degree Freemasons. And afterward, the CIA put out a memorandum to its operatives to use the term conspiracy theorists for anybody questioning. And it's used today as a common ploy to discredit people who are questioning the situation.
The closest we ever came to having technologies and the existence of non-terrestrials go public was actually in 1962-63. I'm told through alliance sources that President Kennedy was indeed going to make some announcements, and also make announcements that he was going to take drastic steps against some of these secret societies that were running the planet. Therefore, they worked through the CIA to have him eliminated. When he was eliminated in a very public way, the cabal came into power in a very public way. They had been controlling things very covertly up until that point. But since then, they have overtly controlled the destiny of the United States.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
College and Bush, were you in the same secret society?
I'm sorry. Let me answer his question. Excuse me. What are you asking? Whoa. Is anybody watching?
Yale University is 300 years old this year, and were you to visit its campus, you would see that it still has exotic clubhouses, which look like tombs where Yale's legendary secret societies meet.
The videotape provides a grainy glimpse into what appear to be the initiation rituals of a secret society that's been around since 1832, whose members have gone on to be leaders of Wall Street and the White House, the Senate and the Supreme Court. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing. Still, Rosenbaum says the tape is a valuable artifact, an extremely rare view into the secret society that groomed the American ruling class for generations. Dan Harris, ABC News, New York.
We see the remains of humans with elongated skulls all over the world. When you look at Egypt, there are countless depictions of the pharaohs having these weirdly elongated skulls. This includes Akhenaten, Nefertiti, and their daughter Meritaten. In the case of Meritaten, there are multiple granite busts that you can see that were carved of her, in which she clearly has no hair and has this freakishly elongated skull. And remember, this is a culture that was apparently building pyramids at the time that these sculptures were made. The people with the elongated skulls had apparently been keeping their lineage secret and hidden in the Egyptian priesthood. But then remember that Egypt became weak and it was conquered by Rome. What happened when the Romans got in there is that they made a secret agreement with these people in the Egyptian priesthood who still had the elongated skulls, and they created a safe haven for them in the Vatican City. The Library of Alexandria was burned down, but only with a false flag, where they burned tax documents and census documents. They took all the good stuff that included books from before they came to Earth and relocated that to the Vatican Library. Then you go across to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, and once again, you have a pyramid building culture in Mesoamerica with people depicted in their inscriptions who have elongated skulls. And unlike the case of Egypt, with Mesoamerica, we now have the added benefit that there are multiple elongated skulls that have been dug up and were not censored, but are actually on display in museums in places like Bolivia. We have the researcher Brian Forster, who is bringing out new examples of elongated skulls, and they are being genetically tested, they're being analyzed, and they have clear physiological differences from the skulls that the rest of us have. These people have very large brains. Discover magazine in the year 2009 came out with an article called what happened to the hominids who were smarter than us. And it describes how in the early 20th century, elongated skulls were found in Boskop, South Africa, thus earning them the name the Boskop skulls. And they were given ceremonial burials. Apparently these people were revered in their society. But the article claims that the brain volume is almost twice what ours would be, and thus the average person in their society would have an IQ of 150, and some of them could have an IQ that goes up to 300. These weird elongated skulls were also found in a dig in Siberia in a town called Omsk, and the men who dug them up were so afraid that many of them actually started crying and left their jobs and refused to come back. We furthermore see in the case of the Mongolian conquerors that there were reports of them having weird elongated skulls. And most recently, even in Europe, we have found tombs of the nobility, the wealthy people who preserve their bloodlines, such as in France. And they also have this bizarre elongated skull feature. It wasn't until insiders started talking to me that I thought about the fact that in the Vatican, you see people wearing these mitre hats, and those hats would very nicely conceal an elongated skull. These people with elongated skulls would look like us in their faces, and the hat would conceal the only thing that would make them appear to be different. My research also turned up data on an Italian noble family from the 14th century known as the d'Este clan. And the d'Este clan had very close ties to the Vatican. What's so bizarre is when you look at a painting of Prince Leonello d'Este and someone who is either his sister or his wife, the scholars don't really know, they usually call her Princess d'Este. They both have freakishly elongated skulls in this painting. The story gets even more interesting when you trace the descendants of the d'Este clan, the lineage that they left behind. For what you find is that King George I, who began ruling in 1714, was a direct bloodline descendant of these people who obviously had the elongated skulls in the 1400s. And then you find out that a variety of earlier British consorts, meaning nobility, also were direct descendants of the d'Este clan. Then it gets even more outrageous when you discover that the royal families of Norway, Sweden, Spain, and Denmark are all descendants of the same elongated skull d'Este clan. And let's not forget that only recently we found royal tombs in France and other countries in Europe in which the nobility again had these elongated skulls. And if you think this only has to do with divine right of kings and European nobility, you would be wrong. In 1988, an article in the New York Times traced fully 13 out of all of the 40 US presidents at the time as having a direct bloodline connection to European nobility. In 2012, a 12-year-old girl named Brigitte d'Avignon actually did a much more complex genealogical study of the US presidents using the power of the internet and computers.
On the School Watch tonight, the story of a 7th grader from Salinas who claims to have made a major discovery about President Obama. She and her grandfather say that President Obama is related to all but one U.S. president.
And she found that 42 out of 43 U.S. presidents all had a common ancestor in King John I from England. And this is not just any old king. This is the guy who actually chartered the Magna Carta, which became the defining element that turned into the British Constitution.
D'Avignon says she spent countless hours on the internet over the summer researching the lineage of our presidents, a project that started with her trying to trace her own family tree.
But I'm the first historian to do all the presidents.
So that's almost all of the US presidents that we've ever had. The bottom line is these people are tracking their lineage, they're tracking their bloodline, and they're making sure that their own people get steered into the positions of the highest power and influence worldwide, including the United States of America.
Within secret societies, there can be both good and bad people, white hats and black hats. So many of these secret societies are, of course, involved in very dark practices. But there are also secret societies out there that are harboring knowledge and information and technology to keep it out of the hands of the deep state or the black hats or the people that would do detriment with these technologies.
Some of the, I guess, very well known elites, names I won't mention, but are on the front lobes of most watching this video, are highly involved not only in some of the slave trade aspects, but are also involved in dealing with non-terrestrials and dealing with organized crime down here on Earth and how it's related to these programs.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. For the record, my name is Mike Ruppert, R-U-P-P-E-R-T. I did bring this information out 18 years ago, and I got shot at and forced out of LAPD because of it. I've been on the record for 18 years nonstop, and I'll be happy to give you, Congressman, anything that I have.
A lot of these elite are running a lot of financial scams, drug programs to raise money for these secret programs that they have going on. And they take full advantage of this access.
They probably don't age anymore. And you know, a 1%er, you don't know who they are. You don't even know what they look like. You don't even know their name. They could go down and be at a 7-Eleven, you wouldn't even know it. So they could not age and you wouldn't know it. Never get sick. Offspring would be born. They'd be super smart, super strong. Just quality of life improved in every direction. And I'm sure the 1%ers are enjoying that, while the rest of us are dying with diseases and malformities and stuff. They're walking around, you know, body beautiful. So that's just the medical area. Then, and think about the other things: transportation, the vehicles they travel around, home, security, all that stuff. Just, you know, it'd be like somebody in modern suburbia looking at a man in a cave. We're the men in the cave.
What very often occurs is that an elite will get to a very old, ripe age, or they will die, or they will die in some sort of an accident publicly. Privately, they are taken, and depending on their level, they are either age regressed or they have their consciousness basically downloaded into a clone that is an exact duplicate of them. They then disappear from the public eye forever and go into these programs or go into retirement. This is something that pops up a lot in the programs, and everyone that is served deeply knows that the elite have access, and many of them never really die.
What the deep state or the cabal or the New World Order is a small group of very powerful but very psychopathic individuals that have acquired a lot of money, a lot of technology, and a lot of information over the course of centuries.
Definitely your politicians, the older ones, one that are chair people that command the power, 1%ers, chairman of the boards, those people, that's ones we never know their names, don't know their faces, and they control all the power.
The more you get involved in these societies, the deeper and deeper you go, the more compromised you become. You start to learn more and more of the secret teachings. You have to work really hard for the knowledge. It can take years of time. You keep accessing higher and higher levels of rank, and they keep dropping these little seeds in as you go on. Seeds that start to blossom in your mind and make you think differently. Ultimately, if you go far enough down this road, you will be invited to participate in things like and human sacrifice. And if you don't do it, It's the offer you can't refuse. They may actually even kill you. Once you partake in these activities, whether you like them or not, they now have leverage they can use against you. If you ever dare to speak out against this group, they have photographs, they have films, they have the footage that can absolutely ruin your life.
Deze mensen, de meeste daarvan, hadden een Luciferiaans geloof. En dan kan iedereen zeggen, ja, geloof bestaat niet en God bestaat niet, alles bestaat niet. Nou, voor die mensen was het de waarheid en de werkelijkheid. Hun diende dus iets onstoffelijks. Hun diende wat zij noemden Lucifer. En ik kwam dus ook in die kringen. Alleen ik lachte erom, want het waren voor mij gewoon klanten. Dus ik kwam in wat ze noemden Satanskerken.
Ik wou zeggen, we hebben het nu over het satanisme.
Ja,
Oké.
Ik kwam dus in Satanskerken, maar ik kwam zeg maar op route even langs, even buurten. En daar was dan op dat moment een heilige mis, hun heilige soorten mis. En dat was met blote vrouwen en wat drank en dit en dat. En ik vond het alleen maar leuk. Ik hechtte weinig of geen geloof aan hun geloof. Of ik was er eigenlijk niet eens van overtuigd dat het überhaupt allemaal wel bestond.
Het was meer een schouwspel voor jou.
Ja, ik zag gewoon de donkerte en de slechtheid en de diepte daarvan zit in de mens zelf.
Ja.
Ik koppelde het nog niet zo. Maar ook die kringen verkeerde ik dus in, omdat ja, als gast zeg maar, omdat ik vond het allemaal wel leuk. Al die blote vrouwen en al die dingetjes die daar speelden. Het was het vrije leven. Maar er kwam een moment, toen werd ik dus uitgenodigd, daarom vertel ik dit ook, om mee te gaan doen aan offers in het buitenland. Dat was het breekpunt. Kinderen.
Oké. Dat werd je gevraagd.
Ja, ik kon het niet.
So did y'all see that? Did y'all see that this man, he was basically saying that, you know, he was going to these churches. He went to a Luciferian Satanism type of a church. And at first he thought it was all amusing, you know, like, oh, they not really doing it. You know, I can't believe they're having their holy mass with naked women and liquor and all this. And he's not, you know, didn't think anything of it. But then he's asked to participate in sacrifices. And it was, y'all seen what he said. And you can tell that it's true. Ain't no grown man gonna be moved to tears like that. Children. Now, this is where we're getting into what I was talking about the certain chemical that children release and all this and that. And this explained a lot for me as to why, you know, like a lot of these people, you know, like that John of God person that Oprah was affiliated with, and, you know, how all these people are being accused of doing things with these children and having, you know, these trafficking rings and all this. And now it's getting ready to break down why they want kids. Check this out.
The reason that these elite dark occult societies sacrifice and traffic children, first and foremost, is the energy associated with it. So when a human is in the state of fear and trauma, they release a energy, and this energy can be picked up by essentially negative extraterrestrial beings, negative archonic influences, and they feed off of it. They literally feed off the energetic release of fear and trauma. When these dark groups use children, because a child is not mentally programmed yet as an adult is, they are much more innocent. They're much more connected into their higher selves or into their divine, if you will. The trauma that they release is much more potent than using adults. During these ritualistic practices that the elite participate in, one of the compounds that is released in the children's body during torture, during trauma, is a compound called adrenochrome. It's released out of the adrenal gland during highly traumatized incidents. And this adrenochrome acts as essentially a drug. These secret societies that make up the deep state are nothing new. This actually spans back thousands and thousands of years, and they have always occulted this information for themselves. We need to understand what occulted actually means. Occulted just simply means hidden in Latin. It doesn't necessarily mean good or bad, it just means hidden. So these secret society groups have hidden or occulted this information for thousands and thousands of years. They've kept it to themselves, and they haven't shared it with anybody outside of their inner circles.
The secret societies are really more of a front organization that they use to recruit people, and they will gradually over time find out exactly how ruthless and bloodthirsty you are. It is only as you go farther and farther into this, you become embedded with your brothers in a brotherhood, you become more and more involved, you get deeper and deeper in, that then they start hitting you with the really heavy stuff. Until we face as a society that these things are actually happening and that there is a centralized control group that is responsible for this, we will be doomed for these people to continue to exert their control over us. If we don't learn how to respect each other, then we're never going to make any progress. We need to learn from the Me Too movement and understand that there is corruption, there is rape, there is pedophilia, there is child trafficking, there is human sacrifice, there is cannibalism. And all of these things are happening because there is a hidden elite that actually uses these behaviors as part of their religious sacrament. It actually doesn't matter whether you believe that these people exist or not. The bottom line is that they are actually advertising themselves constantly. They do it in movies. There's a whole set of symbols that you can look for in movies that show their influence. They do it in video games. They do it in television shows. They do it in music videos like crazy. They do it in awards ceremonies. And it's always in your face. Now is the time for us to get our heads out of the sand and understand that even if these things do seem unthinkable to us, there are people today who are actively practicing this. The evidence is voluminous, and really what it boils down to is that people don't want to look at the evidence because it is so upsetting.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Solar Warden went active 1980, 1981. It was funded in large part by SDI through President Reagan, though that money was funneled off in many different programs. Solar Warden was developed to do exactly what its namesake says, to police our solar system. We were now able, we had the technology to prevent these interlopers.
Okay. So we have reached the halfway point of this this movie. It's very long. We've been live for 2.5 hours. I know this is heavy, y'all. I know it is. And I know it's deep. So what are y'all thinking so far about what you're watching? Do you believe it? Do you think it's true? And then I see a lot of people saying, Sweet Pea, be careful. This is on YouTube. I'm streaming this from YouTube. So I'm doing a review. You know, this isn't my work. This is someone else's work. So I'm literally reviewing it. We're just watching it. And I'm not saying that this is true or not, or, you know, I'm not trying to influence, like I said in the beginning of the video. This is not any of my beliefs. This isn't what I'm putting on people. I'm just wanting you to see the information that is out there and show you this video. That's it. Yeah, it's been floating around for a long time. But we are at the age of, where things are being revealed. I said that at the beginning of this year. This year is a year of revelation. We are in the end times, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing things like never before. Things are right in our face, and yet people are so complacent with what happens in their everyday life. They don't want any of this to be true. They don't want the world to come to an end. They want to be able to live their life. Just leave me alone. I just want to live. I got kids, I got bills, I got that. They don't want to, there's more to life. None of this rat race and everything is all for nothing, because it's all a distraction to keep us away from the truth, to keep us away from what we really have, our purpose. If we unlock our real potential, and that's what they're trying to keep you from doing, unlocking your potential. But I absolutely believe everything that they're saying about that industry. Oh, I believe that. Dana says, love it. I believe it. I've been a seer since I'm 5. And no, I'm not crazy, but I've never seen an alien. But my brother did when I was little. God rest his soul. Mooney has also had experiences with ETs. Her and her son, I've seen her in the chat stating her and her son saw a machine that started out big and then transformed to a small. Now, I believe that a lot of that of what we're seeing could be our own government with these things, with this technology, because they've already been given it. They have it. They've been given it many, many moons ago by these certain beings. They've given them these ships. They've given them these things. And I believe they be playing with it. They show it to us. They want us to see it and all of this. And they want us to get it confused with other beings, extraterrestrials and all that, when it actually could just be our own government. Think about that. It could actually be our own government. I know this is true. I've been researching this for a long time, ever since I was young. Wow.
ET races from coming into our solar system, grabbing our people and leaving. We could now stop them. So Solar Warden was developed and began to do its job of policing the solar system. At the same time, we had the interplanetary corporate conglomerate, which is made up of all of these military industrial complex corporations. We have all of these other programs that are developing technology at the same time and are developing much, much more advanced technologies. So advanced, in fact, that there are ET races that come here to trade for our technology.
Corey Good is the one insider I found whose testimony ties all of these different threads together. I've heard Corey have knowledge of something that each of the different other insiders I've spoken to had said to me in the past. Nobody else had ever done that before. And that was fascinating because I had not put this information online. The information was proprietary. It was things that I'd heard over the course of conversations that could have gone on for many, many dozens of hours over time, spreading across about 20 years worth of my own past history.
I think they chose children for these MyLab programs in several different ways. They had to profile them. They definitely used standardized testing and a few other ways to identify whether they had a skill or a talent that they needed. Then they would check out their family life. They preferred children from broken homes or from homes that were not harmonious because the children are used to getting smacked around. They're used to stressful environments, and the parents were not always as attentive as other parents. Therefore, the children were able to handle a lot more stress, and the parents may not notice, certain behavior in the kids. Well, I guess you would say a typical day, if there is a typical day in the life of a MyLab, would be your parents dropping you off at school, just like any other day. And except that day, you're pulled aside and told you're going to go on a field trip. You're in a special education class or an accelerated learning class, you're special. You're being taken off campus to go, look at dinosaurs. Well, you are taken, put in a van. Usually a person is driving that is military looking, sometimes in uniform. They would then drive us for a little over an hour to Carswell Air Force Base. We parked inside this hangar that was a motor pool, and we walked to the back, and there was an elevator. And the elevator went down quite a ways. And when we came out, we were underground in a Cold War era type bunker. That would then lead us to another set of elevators that would take us down where we would get on underground trams that would, there were trains that would take us over 500 miles per hour anywhere in the world. When we were sent to one of these locations through one of these shuttles, we would then go through, sometimes because of travel time, we would only get 45 minutes of training in, sometimes 2-3 hours of training in. Then we would go back, be debriefed, and they would give us a chemical through a shot, and they would sit us in a chair in front of a movie screen and basically hypnotize us and give us a screen memory of going to a museum and looking at dinosaurs. They would then put us in the same van, drive us back to school, let us out, and as our parents picked us up, we would tell them all about looking at dinosaurs.
MK Ultra was a program done by the CIA in the 1950s and 60s, and within MK Ultra, they experimented with trauma-based mind control through the use of electroshock therapy, through the use of mind-altering drugs, through the use of even hypnotic regression and many other techniques to figure out how to control and program human beings.
There was programming at bases. They use military bases because they won't have any interference when they have someone on a military base. And a lot of my programming took place on military bases. I would like to talk about the fact that there are rituals done at the military bases also, and that rituals are not a cover. The people that do the mind control are involved, and rituals are very much a part of how they do things. For example, naval intelligence members or people that are in naval intelligence are usually very involved with Ordo Templi Orientis. And that doesn't mean that everyone in naval intelligence is involved in that. But naval intelligence is responsible for a lot of overseeing of ritual activity in this country. And they are responsible for a lot of this going on. There are other organizations, other agencies involved, but naval intelligence is very involved.
We were taken to some kind of facility out on the Nevada desert. And for a long time, I thought it was Area 51. But there was also another underground facility at Tonopah. So either Area 51 or the Tonopah facility was taken to a medical dispensary type of place. And I was sat down in a waiting room with the lights off. Everything they did seemed to be to cover memory, to make sure that if anybody did remember anything, being in a room with the lights off, you wouldn't be able to see the people clearly, things like that. I was given fatigues to wear that night, with no rank insignia, no name tags, no identifying marks of any kind. Was forbidden to speak to the other people that I was out there with, beyond what was necessary to run the test. So the situation they put us in was very isolating and very frightening, terrifying actually. And so we got to this facility, we sat down in this waiting room with the lights off, and I still see it really clearly. I could draw a picture. And one by one, we had to go off to the side in this little room. Finally, they called my name and I went into the little room, and it was a small room. There was a security guard in there in desert camo fatigues, wearing a sidearm. He was standing at parade rest. And I was told to lay down on this stainless steel examining table that looked old, like it was maybe from the 40s or 50s. And I laid down on there fully clothed, didn't have to take anything off. And I waited for a long time with that security guard watching me. And finally, some guy in a white lab coat came in, the same door I had gone in to the room in. And he said, "Stay calm," 3 times in this really deadpan, monotone voice. And he walked past the security guard, up the right side of the table, got up to the right side of my head, and then he had a hypodermic needle hidden in the sleeve of his lab coat, and he injected me in the side of the neck right here. And whatever the chemical was went straight to my brain. And so I'm kind of in shock from whatever this injection's doing to me, because it went straight to the brain, and I was like, in shock. Suddenly there's 2 guys on either side of that table pulling me up by the arms and dragging me off the table and down through this doorway where there was a long flight of stairs going down. For some reason, I remember it as one long flight going down, not switchbacks like a lot of store cases are. It was just straight down. They half carried me, half dragged me down those stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, there was like this little room that had a one-way mirror in it. And I went through the effects of that injection in that room. And I felt like, I've described it so many ways down through the years. It was kind of like feeling like your body's turning to soda pop fizz or beer foam. It's just like, when your leg goes to sleep and it comes back and there's all the pins and needles and tingling and everything else like that. It was like that was happening to my whole body. But super duper intense pins and needles. And I just curled up on the floor and just screamed because it was just doing this number on me, and I felt like I was coming apart somehow. I don't know why or how I thought that, but that's how my body felt. It felt like it was just going to come apart and run down a drain in the floor. And I had a feeling that because that mirrored thing on the wall, I think it was a one-way mirror, and they were looking at me through the mirror to watch me go through the effects of this. And I've racked my brain to try to come up with some idea of what this injection was and what it was for. And the only thing I've been able to come up with is maybe they were trying to create a chemical version of ascension.
One of the technologies that I was exposed to while in the MyLab programs were the chemical cocktails they would use on us. They would use them to enhance us in many different ways. Some of the ways that we would be enhanced would be if they discovered we had an intuitive empath ability. There was a cocktail that they would give us that would enhance it, make it many-fold stronger. They would also give cocktails to people that would have hormones in them that would make them stronger, faster, and think quicker. Major part of the program was that when you started, they were not quite sure where they would send you. A lot of the kids that were in these programs, they would end up in different syndicates here on the Earth working for the cabal, and a small percentage, very small, would end up going into the secret space program.
Certain children were picked who had certain DNA, and I was connected with that. And what they did was, when we were like 5 and 6 years old, they took us there, and they trained us, and we did. We learned and we trained and we did all sorts of operations when we were there. Now, when I was 5 years old, my parents moved to Los Angeles at the time, out of the blue, and I was living on Sepulveda Boulevard, and the Mars jump rooms for children were on at 999 Sepulveda Boulevard. I now know. So and I didn't know. So I had these memories before I knew that this particular information about these Mars jump rooms on Sepulveda Boulevard. It was a lot of training. So say from 5 years old to 25 years old was spent there, and I know some of the people now who are back here. But what they did then at the end of the Mars, at the end of that thing, is they used age regression technology, brought us back to 5 years old, and then placed us exactly back to where we were.
The reason so few went into the secret space program was that most of the participants, almost all of the participants, are pulled from various military branches. They bring people in to the military, send them through training, testing, find out where their skills lean, and if they have the fortitude for this type of mission. And then they're invited in or drafted in, and they'll serve a 20-year term. And this is referred to as a 20 and back. And after that 20 years, they're actually age regressed and regressed back in time using the technology that was handed to us by non-terrestrials. And then they were buttoned up in time and placed back in their life. And then they finish out the rest of their military term and then return to civilian life, having no memory of serving in the secret space program. The whole point of regressing people back in time after serving in the 20 and back and wiping their memory has to do with a deal that was made with an extraterrestrial group that gave us that technology. There's a Nordic group that are engaged in a time and space battle with a reptilian group. This battle's gone on for many thousands of years.
When delving into this research, some people formulate ideas that there's only good extraterrestrials here or there's only bad extraterrestrials here. But we need to understand that the law of polarity is universal. There's both good or benevolent extraterrestrials here to help us, and there's negative extraterrestrials here to essentially feed off of us and traumatize us into a state of fear. These negative extraterrestrial species involve some gray species. They also involve many reptilian species and many non-physical archonic entities that can also remotely influence and utilize much of that fear energy and traumatized energy that we release.
Towards the end of my training, it started to become pretty clear that I had done very well in the intuitive empath training. I'd done very well in the rest of the general training that I was given. And I was starting to be introduced to non-terrestrial beings. So it became very obvious that I was going to be interacting with non-terrestrials, and I assumed it was going to be in an off-world environment. Little did I know that I was going to be drafted in this program when I was 16 years old. And it was during my Christmas break between the age of 16 and 17 years old. I turned 17 in February. I was taken from my room. I was then taken to Carswell Air Force Base. I was then transported to the moon, where I sat and signed a bunch of papers that were non-disclosures, were just a big stack of papers signing my life away when I wasn't even 17 years old yet. The Lunar Operations Command is a moon base, and it was built out originally by the Germans in the late 1930s, early 1940s. While they were building this complex, they had utilized an ancient alien building that was not too terribly far away. they had found a bunch of these buildings on the moon, and they had found one of the buildings that they were able to patch up with some of the concrete they made from the local regolith. They then were able to pressurize it and use it as a base of operations while they built out the Lunar Operation Command. After a number of years, and after Operation Paperclip, it served its purpose and integrated the Nazis into the military-industrial complex, the LOC was handed over to the Americans. When approaching the moon from Earth in an electrogravitic craft, you will find the moon will be at a distance, and then it will grow very quickly in front of you. And then the next thing you know, you are above the surface. You will then fly in the electrogravitic craft at breakneck speeds, except you don't feel inertia. You find yourself hugging maybe 90 feet, 300 feet above the lunar surface, going at incredible speeds until you reach a crater. And then you find yourself orbiting a crater. The person piloting the craft radios in requesting permission to land. You don't see anywhere to land. All of a sudden, a little haze kind of occurs, and then there's a base. It's the Lunar Operation Command. And as you fly down and over, there is a control tower where they control the air traffic. As you fly around this base to make your final approach, you see a secondary crater. And as you fly down into that crater, it's fairly deep, and you end up popping out into a lava tube section where you immediately see a giant building built into the middle of that lava tube that blocks it. And it's built kind of like the shape of a bell. And it looks like the outside of a battleship almost, the way it's built. You then fly in and land in the bay, and you're now at the Lunar Operation Command.
Well, some of the testimony that's come to me over the last year in particular has been nothing short of startling in terms of the degree to which the space program, the secret space program, has expanded. I've talked to people who have said that there is and has been an ongoing extrasolar planetary colonization program that's been going on for decades and decades. I mean, to the point where one of the people who had actually gone, and this was the claim that he made, that he was on a warp-capable spacecraft that went from here to the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy in 20 minutes, and that when they got there, they located at least 8 Earth-like planets in some of the star systems along the edge of the galaxy, and 8 of those planets had human life on them. They were Earth-sized planets with sun-like stars similar to our sun at approximately the same distances. They wound up using some kind of radio telemetry sensors to determine which ones were broadcasting in conventional radio and television signals. They found 2 planets like that, 2 of which were speaking English. And the minute I heard this, I thought, well, this is complete baloney, or this system, this whole program has been going on for a lot longer than anybody would have dreamed. But he described seeing cities and roads and cars and people and conventional clothing speaking English. And there's only one way that that's possible, I mean, other than, parallel universe type of a scenario. And that is that the program's been going on for much, much longer.
Okay, guys. So we have to stop it because it's going into 3 hours, and we will do a part 2. We'll come back and watch the rest of it tomorrow night. But this is like a lot to take in. And all I'm doing is presenting what they showed on it, and you got to make your own way in life. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say about that. Like I'm not saying this is true, it's not true, whatever. It's just information I'm showing, and you got to make your decisions for yourself of what you think about it. Okay. All right. So we're going to come back tomorrow, and we will watch the rest of it. But you guys, there really is a lot more to think about than beefing on YouTube, right? All this information that is in this video, all of this is actually it's not just information that just came out of nowhere. They have the proof for the information. Like, all of this stuff is real. It is true. Everything that is said in this video, the stuff they have, the so-called the receipts, should I say, the MK Ultra program, that really did exist. So all these little things that they're dropping, all these jewels they're dropping, I mean, it is not all, like, it can't all be false and fake. It just can't be. So look, Dana said, yep, my brother seen the gray one. It was little. Wow. Where did you guys see it at? Michelle said bye. Yeah, Captain America. Yep. Where did you guys have your experience at? And I know, yep. State of the world. It's horrible. Yep. But where did you guys see, and like, Dana, if you don't mind sharing with us in the chat, like, what your experience was. But excuse me, it's a lot of information, but this is definitely a video that is really put together well. It's a lot of information jam packed into just one video. There's another gentleman that has a channel. He does the near-death experiences and talks to people that had near-death experiences, and also he talks to other people as well. But mainly his objective with his videos is to show that there's other life forms, that there's is information that is being hidden. There's a lot of secret knowledge and things like that on his channel. So yeah. Okay, so I see a couple people, have said, telling me that I should not wow, your old house in actually in Brooklyn. Now that's weird to me that they actually showed up in the city, because most of the time people have experiences, it's not in the inner city. I've noticed that it's like in Arizona or Wyoming, like wide open space areas that are like that. So that's interesting that it happened to you guys with your brother and y'all lived in the inner city. I think the aliens they showed in Mexico are true, but had to hurry up and cover it up with an alien cake because something went on behind the scenes. Well, they've, captured, if they did capture these aliens, from what I've heard and rumors I've heard about it, they actually torture them when they catch them and stuff like that. They have tortured them and tried to get them to give information, but they say that these aliens are actually kept at Area 51 and stuff, that they're able to come and go as they please, that they're flying in and out of our dimension constantly. They're going back and forth. They can get to their solar system and their planet within minutes. Bougie Barbie have raised the point. I saw your comment where you were saying that okay, it was back in the 80s, but when you were saying Oh man, I'm tired, so I just forgot. Just that quick. Oh God, Bougie Barbie, what was that comment you made? Oh, I gotta go back. Let's see. Oh, she says, why haven't we? She says, she said, I feel like it's true that there is a huge pause in our technology. Think about it. Why can't we teleport yet? Why do we go to the moon? Why don't we go the same way? Why aren't we using like a jet to get there, right? Why haven't we colonized the moon? Why are the videos to the moon still the same grainy, shadowy? Well, that's because they want you to think that. Cars are roughly the same. What big strides have we made since the late 60s? Well, Teslas, they have electricity in cars and everything, but they do have clean energy. They know if they released clean energy, it would change the world, and they don't want to change the world. They want it to be like it is. In fact, they want it to be worse than what it is. Oh, they abduct people in the city too. Okay. My daughter said she saw UFOs where my mom lived with her cousin a lot. Wow. Yeah, some people have been being abducted. Yeah. Our technology seems stunted. So I think they want us to think that. I mean, look at how they come out with these cell phones and the things that cell phones are able to do. That's huge technology. If we had told, people back in the days with the horse and buggies in the 50s and 20s and all this, that we would have cell phones that basically at with the click of our finger, we're calling people and all this and the screens, and they wouldn't even have believed it, right? So I believe our technology is actually way more advanced than what it is. They've been studying the ET's technology that they have with those in those spaceships. They've been given spaceships, like they said. In fact, the aliens come here to trade with us with our technologies. It's just that they're not going to put it out for the world because they know that it would get rid of all of the problems that we have. It would get rid of homelessness. It would get rid of, the threat with global warming because of the coal and the different toxins that we're putting in the atmosphere. But they want these certain things to happen. They want it to be a global catastrophic event. They want all that. And they think that they're going to take these spaceships and they're going to leave us because the moon is colonized. The moon's colonized, so is Mars. What do you think they've been going out there for so much? They actually are, there's people living on Mars. I believe some of these celebrities that are dying and having these accidents and all of this, they're not dead. They're on Mars or the moon or wherever. They need people to be on those planets and so-called try it out and see. They don't plan on coming back because once you get out there, they don't have a way to bring you back. Because if once they land there, they can't like fire it up and come back. So once you go there, that's it. So yeah, the people that would be able to go there to actually figure it all out and to try it out and all that, it would have to be people that are elite, people that are in the program and all of that, the whole global elite program. It would have to be people like that, and they would have to fake their death and have some sort of where people are not expecting to ever see them again because they're not planning on, they're not coming back. They're planning on bringing everybody else there. So, they want us to believe, that the technologies and the information that these so-called aliens and that, these aliens are not anything but demonic forces. They're not anything but demonic beings. They're demons. They're not anything but the demons and the demonic forces that the Bible talks about. They're not nothing but them fallen angels. They're Nephilims, all of this. But there are other, like Anunnaki and all these different types of humans, different types of beings that have been on this planet that are responsible and been right next to humans, been right next to the creation of man. Now, their part that they've had to play has always been to be the adversary. It's always been to distract mankind. Look at Adam and Eve. That's a typical, how things happen. Be tempted with knowledge of good and evil. Be tempted with technology. And then what happened? Yes, and then there are some that would help. There's always good and bad, because the ones that are helping, they are the angelic beings. They are the seraphim and the different beings that are talked about in the Bible. They look funny in appearance as well. The Bible talks about them being funny in appearance and frightening in appearance. If we were to see them, that's why they say they like now, if they're around and if they hide themselves, your angels and all that, they hide themselves so we can't see them, because if we were to see what they really look like, we would be afraid. They say some of them are taller, bigger than your house. They're standing over you, watching over you, watching you and guiding you in everyday life. But if they were to show themselves, we would literally probably pass out from fear. So this world has always been what it is, and it's still continuing to be a group of people that want to remain in power, and they need a bunch of subjects, i.e. you and me, to make this world go round, to give them the riches that they want to live off of. It's always the working class, always the people at the bottom that have to make you rich. So they got to keep us subservient and keep us working and keep them rich. Right. How can creation be more than creator? Period. There is no such thing. The creation cannot be more than a creator. But it's what is creation, right? I don't think that anyone is saying that the creation is higher than God, that like we're negating who God is and what the idea of God is. But what I think this message and what they are trying to convey to people is that the darkness that goes on the planet, God gave the devil this earth to roam to and fro. When he got cast out, he was cast out to this earthly realm to do as he pleased. Right? But he can only go but so far, because God is not, his spirit is still on this earth. Once God's spirit leaves this earth, that's when it's going to really be bad. So he doesn't have total freedom just yet to really go all out. But this world, this earthly realm belongs to Satan. It belongs to the devil and his demons and his co-conspirators. All the demons that left, the angels that left with him when he got kicked out, they left with him and decided to go with him. All demonic forces. So that's who these people pray to. And these demons need bodies. These demons are inhabited. They inhabit these government people in power. They inhabit their bodies. Some of these entertainers are hosts for demons. When they're doing these freaking seances and these different rituals, they're actually being a host for these demons. So, yeah, a lot of it is deep. A lot of people say, be careful. You can get your channel taken. Listen, the truth is out there. This channel that I'm reviewing, man, I can't believe that they're still on YouTube. I can't even believe that the message that they're putting out and the hundreds of thousands of people that are watching, that they still have a channel. I don't know if they're monetized, because I have premium on my thing. So I can't see if commercials pop up throughout their video, but I wouldn't be surprised that they're not monetized. That would surprise me. But they can argue freedom of speech, and YouTube can be sued if they were to try to take your channel because of what you said, and they're trying to keep you from spreading the truth. If you could prove that, that's a violation of our constitutional rights. I don't give a damn how powerful YouTube is or Zuckerberg and all these people. You still can't violate people's freedom of speech, right to fair trial, the press, freedom of press, freedom of religion, all these things. You cannot deny people their basic human rights. You can't. Yes, we talked about that too. That lady on the plane screaming, no way that was an act. Her voice told it all. It was pure terror. And remember, she was saying she was sitting next to someone that wasn't human. And she said, I am getting off this plane. She said, y'all can laugh or whatever, but that motherfucker back there is not human. And I'm telling you now, that man is not human. She was serious. He is not real. I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker back right there is not real. She was serious. And then when TMZ caught up with her and I think TMZ be everywhere. I think they even, a reporter or somebody caught up to her while she was still at the goddamn airport, honey. And she told them on camera that she wasn't able to speak about it because they told her not to speak about it. So someone had already gotten to her that quickly from the government, from wherever they were from, and told her that she better not talk about that she cannot speak about what it was she saw, what that person looked like. Was it a reptilian? Did his eyes glitch? Did he have reptilian skin? What was it that she saw on that person? She saw something, and she jumped up and got the hell off that plane. And a lot of people were saying, oh, she's mentally ill. No, ma'am. Y'all want to see that? Let's roll that clip. Let me get that clip. Let me get that clip.
People started kind of noticing. Flight attendant came over, tried to calm her down, like, what's going on? And that's when she was like, I can't do this. She started getting up.
But unfortunately, I don't believe either of them. The first guy shows a video with the green hoodie guy, but those overhead compartment latches don't match the original video. And the second guy says that she was on the right and he was behind her on the left, but the second video angle shows that she was sitting in the left aisle, which I understand. People love expanding the lore with these wild tinfoil hat theories, and normally it's all in good fun. But what I can confirm is we are getting an increasing number of people freaking out on these flights. A few days ago, a man desperately needed to exit a Ryanair flight, where he was eventually arrested.
Okay, he's getting dragged away.
And the Mirror reported that he was only stopped because tourists were able to restrain him. But just over a month before that, a man on Asiana Airlines was actually able to open the door mid-flight. Now, I'm personally not a big fan of flying, but I've never thought forcing my way off a flight as it's in the air would be a better alternative than just sticking it out. But then again, I never saw what these three people saw on 3 different continents all in the span of 45 days. Now, I cannot prove that the only reason that I'm safe is because of my tinfoil beanie, but you can't prove that it's not. So if you appreciate my
or they cannot believe it. I don't give 2 f***s, but I am telling you, I'm getting the f*** off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the f*** off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give 2 f***s, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
So there's a lot of wild theories coming out about this story. There's new videos of the woman being posted, the person who they think the shapeshifter is, and what happened to the other passengers on that flight. Well, fortunately, the original poster of the first video did show that he arrived to his destination. But what I want to go into is, what exactly freaked her out, and why did she go into the satanic Baphomet symbolism? Although we normally cover more serious topics on this channel, it's times like these I'm really glad I got my tinfoil beanie from decoyvoice.com. Because looking at the BBC article on the Baphomet statue, they discover the two-finger salute meaning as above, so below, as it displays binary opposites, above, below, part animal, part human, which above and below could be making reference to an airplane going up and down, but also, if you are not real but a shape.
Not going to. Nope. Stop the fucking plane. Stop the fucking plane. Stop the plane. No. No. So what's going on? No. Stop it. Stop it. Fuck off this plane right now. I need to get the fuck off this plane. We're going to the gate. I'm not sitting by that man. Okay. Can I get a volunteer? Do you mind moving a little seat? Can I get a volunteer to sit in the aisle seat? She just needs to sit down. She can't be up right now. Here, fucking tea after this. See what happens. See what happens after this. See what happens. Where's your bag? Is your bag still on the truck? Yes. See what the fuck happens after she has a bag under her belt now. I mean, I don't even give a fuck about my shit. Sit there. Here.
License verified, disarm door, standby protocol.
I'm a licensed attorney. This is my brother. Yes. Okay. So, I need to know where she's supposed to be sitting. You guys have how many seats? You guys have 5. You got 5 telling you? Yes. Things aren't right. No, I'm telling you. Things aren't right. So, what we're going to do, because you said you were keeping somebody taking your belongings, we're paying. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm a licensed attorney, so just be careful. I'm a licensed attorney. No. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it?
Get on this fucking flight. Pull me down. I'm getting the fuck off. I'm getting the fuck off because I'm getting the fuck off because there is a stupid fucking dude on here. No. Yeah. What? I don't give a fuck. I am telling you right now. That motherfucker back there is not real. There's kids on here. Claim that you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not doing that. There's kids on here.
Now, you see what people do. Their first reaction is always to think that people are crazy or they're high or something's wrong with her. But I think what was happening is that the black woman was saying that she was a licensed attorney. I think it was her brother or something that the woman was accusing of being a shapeshifter, that he was doing something. I think they took her seat, or originally they weren't supposed to be sitting there or something like that. And so they weren't even in the right seats. And I think she first accused them of taking something of hers. That's what they thought. That's what she was saying. But I think she was saying that he was doing something that made her uncomfortable and made her feel like he was a shapeshifter and he wasn't real. And so people like seen her reaction and they laughing and stuff. But oh, she must have did a drug in the bathroom and came back tripping. And the first thing is to do is laugh. But we don't know what that woman saw and what it was that made her freak out like that. It was something. It was something. And so when TMZ or any press tried to catch up with her, you notice this woman ain't been interviewed. She was told that she could not talk about it, she said. There's literally no information on that woman. There's no video on that woman after the fact. So if this was something where she was tripping or it wasn't true, it wasn't real, what she saw, why didn't TMZ, why they wasn't able to interview her? Why wasn't anybody able to get any footage with her? Why she said she's not allowed to talk about it? So they immediately got to her that quick and told her she cannot say or talk about it. That's what she said. She was told that she couldn't talk about it. Basically, Sephora. So they took her freedom of speech. Yeah. They got to her that quick. And see, that's what society and us, the people, we're so dummy down and we're so comfortable with our false sense of reality that we don't want anything that disrupts that. You're either crazy, it's either a lie, it's funny, and we dismiss it because we want to stay comfortably blind, want to stay comfortably asleep. We don't want anything to disrupt that. We want to be lied to. We want to keep it the way it is because that's familiar. But when we start breaking this stuff down more and more, because we're going to be having more and more and more and more, I definitely want to cover what one of these videos was talking about the church, the Catholic Church, and the different things that are in the Vatican and all of the artwork and all of the artifacts and everything that they have. All of this stuff that they have has more to do with them and their vanity and their, showing off their wealth and their power that they've obtained through wealth. It's all of that to do with them and has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. And that's who they're supposed to be worshiping, right? The Pope is supposed to be God in the flesh, and then all the little cardinals and all the different people, you go and make your pay penance and make your confession and all these different things. Those are people that just talk to God sometimes. They don't talk to God all the time, like the Pope, honey. These are people that you're going to go and tell your sins to and pay a certain amount. And now once you pay that penance and you do that once a week, now you're absolved from your sins, because the little guy that you went in there to that booth and confessed and told your problems and your secrets and your sins, and you confessed your sins. Now all you got to do is pay a price. After you tell him everything you did, he puts a price on it and says, if you pay this amount when you leave, and you're all good. Seriously? So that just keeps people living bad lives, not being accountable for what they're really doing, not getting in touch from what they're really doing to make change, because that priest that they are talking to told them that you're free and you're absolved of your sin because you paid the price financially. You confessed it to me, you paid a penance, and off you go to do all the same things all over again, to live the same lifestyle all over again the next week. And then you come back to the priest and tell him again, pay your stuff, and you go back out there in the world. It's a cycle. You're a good little Catholic. It's crazy. Exactly. That's why they never change, because there's no true conviction. There's no true, desire to change and desire to do better. Oh, I can just go to the priest. I can just confess, pay my penance, and I'm going to be good. And a lot of people don't even know, like, that is what they're doing. A lot of people don't know that with the burnt offerings and the food, and the whole tithing with the 10th and this portion and the best portion and the best fruit and the best this, we don't want just any old stuff. We want you to bring the best. We want you to bring this. All of that was just them getting the food and the riches of the people to feed the church, to feed those priests, to keep them fat bellied. You gotta really do the research on this. A lot of people don't even know the research. A lot of people don't even know what the Catholic Church is all about. I mean, look at all of the pedophilia that goes on in there, all the lawsuits that they've had to settle from all of the kids they've touched, all the little boys and girls that they violated. Because you know why? You tell these priests and you tell these men that they gotta rid themselves of their cardinal desires, of the lust, of the sex. They can't have a wife. They can't have women. They can't do none of this. So that's why they're getting freaky with the nuns in the convent. They're doing all that. The nuns are getting pregnant and having abortions, and they finding, a couple places and found, fetuses and babies in trash cans and everything, because these people be doing all this sin up under in these convents, because they're not supposed to be married. They're not supposed to be with men. They're not supposed to be with women. You're denying the flesh of these, of being married and being with your wife or being with your husband. You're denying them this. So they got all of these nasty fleshly urges now. And what do? Take it out on the kids, because those are the people that are around them. So they take it out on the kids. They take it out on the young boys. They take it out on the young girls. Look at that girl that got missing in the Vatican. She went missing while in the Vatican. Once you get up in there, the laws are totally different. She went missing in there. Vatican City or whatever it was, she went missing. And nobody, they stopped looking for her because nobody was able, they weren't able to find her. Who went, well, who took her? Well, what happened? It's just, it's a lot with that church. A lot with those people. Right. It will definitely be in those days. It'll be just like those days. It said that when God returns this time, Jesus returns this time, it's going to be worse than the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know, when in those days they wanted to go into the angels, those there nasty people was banging on the door, wanting to go into the angels, wanting to know them. And the Bible says they wanted to know the angels, and that meant sex. They wanted to go into them and have sex with them. They were that immoral. That's how immoral that town had become. That society had become. So it's going to be even worse. Those days they were partying and sinning and doing all this and wanting to have nasty sex and all this different type of immoral sex. And, you know, it's a lot with that. You know, it's a lot with it. But the Bible says it's going to be the days that are coming, it's going to be worse. So I ain't worried about a YouTube beef. I ain't worried about all that no more, because it's more bigger things that I am focusing on. Because we are only here for a moment at time. Can you imagine if I'm sitting here beefing on a computer and the rapture come and I was sitting here dragging and doing all that on YouTube and then the trumpet sound? Can you believe that? And I'm sitting here going through that and I didn't get anything right. I didn't get myself right with God. I didn't make peace with anything because I was distracted by the things of the world. That's what they want you to be. Satan's job is to get as many souls and take as many souls as he can. To take as many people down as he can, because he hates humankind. He hates man. He hates humanity. He hates us because we're God's creation. He hates us. And that's why when I say, why these people don't like me, what is it about these people? When they're filled with this wicked energy and these wicked influences, that's what it is. It's the same principle. They don't like me. They hate me because that spirit that is on them and that is in them is evil. And that is what the devil, he does not like about. He doesn't like mankind. So that's why these people don't like me, because they got that same spirit. They're under the same influence. That's what it is. So it don't matter what I do, what I say. It wouldn't matter, because it's all a game, fun and games to them anyway. They have no intention on patching nothing up or coming to a resolution, because as soon as one thing is addressed, here they come with something else. Did you see what they tried to say about me? Now today, it's not giving anymore about the case and all this and the case. Now it's giving, oh, you have track marks on your arm. You're a drug addict. Track marks? Really? Just going to keep going at me, just going to keep finding something. And I said, why me? But you know, someone told me the other day, listen, I've been having experiences with people that are so weird. I don't know if these people are angels. I don't know what they are. But I've been having people just say things to me that are so off the wall, right? That are just like, who was that? I had a man, I was getting on the bus. This was Wednesday. I was getting on the bus, and it was this black guy and this other black guy, and they were at the bus terminal, you know, and they were waiting on their bus. And when I walked by to go stand at the stop where I had to stand at, one of the men told me, wow, you got a light on you. You know what? Somebody's going to make you smile today. And I was like, oh, I smiled. No, he said, no, somebody's going to make you smile today. And I said, okay. Then I had two people tell me that I'm carrying a certain light and a certain aura on me, that I'm anointed. One woman opened the door for me and told me that I was anointed, that she can see the light all on my life and see it on me. And that's not the first time that I've been told those type of things. So that tells me that I need to start living in my destiny. I need to start living in my potential. I need to start unlocking my potential instead of worrying about what's going on up here and what people are saying about me, because because as it appears, I got more on my life. I have a calling on my life, a purpose on my life. And a lot of people can say that. There's not a lot of people with their eyes open. There's a lot of dead people. There's a lot of sleeping people. And I'm thankful that God sees something in me. And God sees my heart and knows my heart, that he would want to use me as a vessel. It's not by coincidence that my message is changing, that I'm spreading a certain type of message. It's not by coincidence. It's all by God's perfect design. So this thing with aliens, yeah, I believe all of it. They're demons, they're spirits. Yeah, I believe that there are aliens. I believe they do look like exactly what they show us. The Bible talks about these Nephilim and different type of demons, and if you want to call them aliens, call them what you want to call them, but that's what they are. They're the Nephilim from the Bible. They've been coming from wherever they're from. And I'm pretty sure there's different species. And I'm pretty sure the Bible does talk about them going into the sons of the, daughters of men and having children and having hybrids and babies and things. They talk about all of this. But what do we have to be afraid of? Nothing. As long as we strive to live good, be good human beings, and we try to live as great as we can according to the scriptures and according to them 10 commandments, and we try to live a life of love and peace and joy and happiness and forgiveness, operating in forgiveness and operating in love, then we ain't got nothing to worry about. Non-fadable, happy birthday. Did you see my tribute to you on my wall? I put up a birthday cake for you. I said happy birthday. You got all kinds of likes over there. And I didn't see you when I told you happy birthday. I didn't even see you in the comments or anything. I said, I wonder if she sees this. I tagged you and everything, girl. Gave you a huge shout out over there on my community wall. It's still up. Going over there and get your present, girl. See your present. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Non-fadable. It's your belated birthday. Hey, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Hey, happy birthday, fadable. Happy birthday, not fadable. It's your birthday. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Yes, it is a warfare, honey. We can't see them, but we can see the harm they cause. Evil sees the light and it kills them. This is all spiritual. Yeah, it is. That's where the hatred comes. I'm like, why these people hate me? That's why. Anything walking around with a light, anything walking around with a purpose, oh, they gonna hate that. They gonna hate that. They're gonna hate it. So that's all I got, you guys. We've been at it for 3 hours and 30 minutes. We watched did a little review. We will finish up the other half tomorrow night. And I'll, wrap it up with my commentary. But thank you for the giveaway. I had a great time with our little subscriber giveaway. We gave $180 away. I am so thankful that I was able to do that with the bills that I have and all the things that I've been going through. It felt good for once to be able to hit y'all cash apps. Okay? Hit the cash app. I was able to hit my subscribers' cash apps. I hit my members off. about that. Thank you so much for the support you guys deserved. Tammy and Dion, you deserved every penny of that. And everyone that won, the trivia questions, I think it was an amazing job. So thank you. So we will keep it going, you guys. Tomorrow we'll be back here. Let's just do probably it's probably gonna be like 9 or something. We'll wrap it up and we'll talk about that, and then we will strive to get that John of God video, that Oprah thing. I'm striving to get that finished so that I can have that out tomorrow night after we go live. Because tomorrow during the day I'm gonna work on it all day. So I'm hoping to have that out, okay? And then we will jump into the Nicki Minaj thing. But there are so many different things that I want to do. We got October coming up with Frighttober. Y'all know we do the for October we do the Halloween Frighttober, and that's where we do every Friday we have a video that is about true crime or something that is really gory and gruesome because it's Halloween. And then we will have our Halloween party on the 31st, like always, where we'll dress up, and I'll probably drop the link and we'll do a video and talk about something live. But we'll, if my subscribers want to come up and y'all got costumes, we can have a costume party. I'll be able to have up a certain number of people on the stream. So if you want to participate in that, just wear your costume on that day, and I'll put the link up and everybody can just come up and enjoy and have a good time. Maybe we'll be able to play some songs, have a couple drinks or whatever, but we're going to have a Halloween show like we do every year. Okay, you guys? So like the video, share the video, but most importantly, y'all better hit that thumbs up and y'all better subscribe. I will catch y'all on the next video. See you tomorrow night, you guys. Bye.